This is the GORE Club podcast with Steve Vessel, Derek Sturgeon, and Deathmetal Dave.
On there sometimes, I'm like, these dudes have no fucking clue what any of this is. They're just like dorks that review like current shit, or they're like early 20s dudes. So they're looking at it like, oh, what's this? Oh, so this was popular? He's like, yeah, this is what this was. Here's a laser disc.
By the way, this is the GORE Club podcast.
How did a beta fail? Why didn't beta go well? I'm like, why do we have to explain it to you in 2021, bud?
You know, I know.
Porn, just go with it.
Just go with porn. Porn's the real answer. Nobody's supposed to say it.
Video discs are the answer to porn.
Video desks?
No, desks. That's pretty cool, actually.
Did today's movie, which we are the GORE Club podcast, and today we are talking about the C.H.U.D, I guess, franchise, since there's two of them. Do you think C.H.U.D got a laser disc or a beta?
I didn't even look that up.
Nah, I don't.
And I've never known all of my video disc friend collectors. I've never said I've got the C.H.U.D one. So
why do you think they collect video discs?
Oh, there was a Betamax.
Same reason I collect Betamax and VHS. It's just
VHS
nostalgia.
is kind of like a thing, though.
Yeah,
laser disc
I know
was
people
never...
who are way young that still collect video discs.
Your friends didn't grow up with a laser disc.
That's what I was trying to get at. Is like they are way young compared to like.
Yeah.
You don't remember that. Maybe it's just something they grab a part of like somebody my age or no, not your age who wants to like, get an 8-track player. It's like, why are you doing that?
I've never wanted to do that.
But if you did,
I have one 8-track and it's George Carlin's first stand-up.
That's awesome.
And I only
That's fucking awesome.
I thought he was
going
to say like Kenny Rogers or something like that.
I have the story of Star Wars on 8-track, and I can't play it anywhere. It looks cool though.
One of the guys I used to work with, he had a laser disc player like in the 90s, and he would always be like, "Hey, you should come over and watch it. It's gonna be great." And I'm like, "I got a fucking VHS. I don't need
I don't need that.
Yeah,
I don't need all that
transfers." Yeah,
you just fucked up though mentioning that Star Wars 8-track because George Lucas is gonna hear this podcast. He's gonna get that 8-track. And he's gonna fucking put some CGI on that bitch.
Oh my god, the special edition of GORE Club podcast.
There's gonna be a special edition. Someone else is gonna shoot first.
I don't know. I mean, it's like if I collected Atari games and didn't have a way to play them. I mean, I've seen people do that. I've got a couple of those still. I don't play them.
I understand it if you had it as a kid, yes. But I don't understand it as in like, oh, I'm just going to have a fucking museum in my house of shit that I have like no like personal thing with.
I don't know,
weird.
man. If somebody
They're
was 20
hoarders.
years old and wanted to buy
It's
a
a hoarder.
fucking Freddy pull string doll, they don't have to have that as a kid.
But do they
It's
like
fucking awesome.
Yeah, because they like Freddy, those why they would buy it.
Yeah, okay.
They're not buying the Atari
I'm trying to make an
game.
argument, but there's no argument.
No,
He's kind of right.
I think we're getting off topic.
They're not
We have
buying the
topic?
Atari game.
C.H.U.D.
Speaking of things people don't like,
C.H.U.D.
C.H.U.D.
And we should probably introduce ourselves.
I'm Steve Vessel.
Deathmetal Dave.
I am Derek, the C.H.U.D.
And now we talk about C.H.U.D.
I think he meant Chad. There's Chad.
Actually, and before I start talking like shit about this franchise, because I just do that when we're going through movies, I just want everyone to know that I fucking love both these movies.
Yeah.
I've been calling like unattractive dudes chuds for most of my life, my childhood and my
Nobody
adult
gets
life,
it but you.
and no one gets it but me. It's popped up a little bit more in pop culture, especially my buddy Neil, who runs Western Evil, released that Chud Nelson shirt years ago.
I was hoping you were going to wear that tonight.
I lost it.
Son of a...
I went all
It's
through my
probably out of
closet
print,
looking
too.
for it. Yeah, it is out of print. He quit doing that years ago. But if you can look it up online, just Google Chud Nelson and check out that wonderful fucking
That's
shirt,
great.
which is Judd Nelson from Breakfast Club with Chud
Yeah, it's the
as his head.
I love it.
I mean,
love
it
so
is
much.
popular. It's got an underground following. I mean, it's been referenced on The Simpsons, The Flash,
Yes.
and Clerks 2, Archer. I mean, several Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. apparently.
Most recently, Us, Jordan Peele's movie.
Oh, yeah,
that-
you're right.
It starts off with the VHS of Chud
There's
sitting
so
there.
many Easter eggs in that fucking
Supposed
movie.
to take place in the 80s, and it's the 90s VHS, but we're not even going to go into that.
Yeah.
That's
let's
like
not, let's not get
that's
reality.
too nerdy and
Get
angry.
realistic here. Well, it's directed by Doug Cheek. Anybody got anything on him?
What has Doug Cheek done outside of Chud?
That's the thing is like he did like Alien Autopsy and Fact or Fiction and not a whole lot of other things. Like, I don't know.
Not much
He
on
did
it.
like the Walmart, the cost of living, the cost of low living or something. I don't know. I live low when I go to Walmart.
So they were like,
I can't even say the fucking name of the title of the documentary. He didn't do much, and they hired him to make this fucking movie.
Well, Dave's got the back of the VHS of the first Chud. Give
Hey,
us
Dave.
when the movie came out for rental. How was it described
how
on the
they sell
back?
it.
Flip that virtual VHS
If I'm walking through
over.
the video store and I flip that bitch over, what do I see?
The dank, putrid labyrinth of tunnels beneath the streets of New York City, a hideous transformation is taking place. An underground ragtag colony of homeless derelicts is turning into a voracious tribe of grotesque mutants.
You look real serious.
They are turning into C.H.U.D, cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers who ooze up from their hellish depths after the dark for the food that satisfies their hunger, human flesh. And then you can go on from there, and it talks about John Hurd and Daniel Stern. But
Go on from there, man.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. John Hurd from Cat People.
God damn it.
And Daniel Stern.
Wait. It says Cat People.
It says Cat People.
Yeah.
And
These are the credits at the time.
Daniel Stern from Breaking Away and Diner.
Ooh.
He was great in
Diner.
Breaking Away, by the way, man. I don't want to talk about that.
Accidentally learn of the government's covert subterranean dumping site, radioactive waste that is mutating the underground vagrants. Together with the Manhattan police captain, they attempt to unravel the government cover-up and to stop the carnivorous slaughter. But they haven't got much time. Soon it will be dark on the streets of the city. Soon it will be feeding time.
C.H.U.D time.
C.H.U.D. So they just told you the whole fucking movie?
Well, no, it kind of gives you like a breakdown.
D.
It really just tells you like, here's your two heroes. One's a photographer, creepy, weird photographer, John Hurd.
Piece of shit.
And then the others feeds the homeless people, Daniel Stern.
Yeah, he's a
He's
good guy.
fucking awesome.
Reverend.
Right.
And a fake reverend, yes.
Yeah, fake reverend. He studied at the Church of Life. He's legit.
And this movie, I think as a kid, and this is how every movie grabbed me as a kid, it instantly goes into like fucked up shit. Like they kill a lady and a dog. Like as soon as the movie starts, it's like, fuck them.
I got questions about that.
Shit.
Yeah. Why was she walking down the fucking middle of the street in the middle of the night anyway?
She was a prostitute.
Why? Whoa, I thought she was the cop's wife.
Well,
Well, she was,
Okay.
but he didn't know.
She was also a lady of the night.
Derek's got this other backstory in his head.
I love it.
It's
I
for
want to
the-
hear it.
It's for the
He didn't
prequel.
know.
That's why those shoes were so sassy.
Well, the whole story for this movie in my head is that it's a Home Alone prequel.
I love this fucking thing. I can't wait. Well, you know, on a positive note, before we start tearing this movie apart, it's actually shot by was it Peter Stern? He did Pet Sematary, the Ernest films, Hello, Friday the 13th Part 2, Graveyard Shift, which actually looks amazing, even though if you don't like that movie, I don't give a fuck, and the Nanny Hulk Hogan movie, whatever that movie is.
Mr. Nanny?
Yeah, there it is. I couldn't remember the name of the movie.
Mr. Nanny with Hulk Hogan.
I made that note. I was like the Hulk Hogan Nanny movie.
That has dude from New York Dolls as the villain. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, fucking
with a metal plate on his head.
Right, I keep wanting to call him fucking.
I'm not looking it
Buster
up.
Poindexter,
Yeah.
but that's his show name.
And then George Jefferson's the sidekick.
Oh god,
It's a brilliant movie.
I love that
We're gonna
fucking
do
movie.
We're gonna do a Hulk Hogan films episode.
It's just gonna be that.
Just that
the
movie
cartoon.
and Suburban Commando, which I get like super mixed up. This movie could have used Hulk Hogan to body slam some of these motherfuckers. What else did Peter Stern? Is he related to Daniel Stern?
No, and that's what I thought.
That's
I
weird,
was kind of
too.
bummed
It's
when I
kinda
didn't find when I
coincident.
found out they were not.
Stern's kind of
connected.
common, right? Though. Right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't
how,
know.
we got,
Is it? It's like
I don't
it's
know. I know Howard Stern and Daniel Stern. I feel like that's more than like
Oh.
most people that I know. I don't know. Like,
It's a New York thing, man.
yeah, it's a
Stern.
New York thing.
The makeup was by John Caglione. He did the Joker makeup in Dark Knight, and he's actually in a movie that we didn't get a chance to talk about in our our horror comedy, My Demon Lover, which I loved that as a kid, and I can't remember. I can't believe we didn't mention that in our horror.
I don't
comedy.
know what that is.
Okay.
I don't think I've seen that one either.
He did the makeup effects for Manhunter, The Blob, and Dick motherfucking Tracy.
Nice.
So, I mean, the movie looks good. It's got fantastic special effects. The monsters are really awesome, especially for the time. Even now, actually.
This is a cool looking movie, but it's full of like 80s cheese, bad acting, and a lot of just like cliches that you see in these type of movies. I think this movie gets shit on by the horror base nowadays because Joe Bob hates it so much. I think it's kind of trendy to go with whatever his opinion is, and he's kind of paid to sometimes hate shit or talk shit about certain ones. And he's picked C.H.U.D and Halloween 3 to be his like two movies that he just despises. And the people that absolutely worship Joe Bob kind of just go with his opinion. Anytime I've ever had an argument about
That's awful.
C.H.U.D, outside of the normal, like, well, it's boring, which that used to be the argument. And I get that. It is a little bit slow paced here and there and shit compared to like the 80s slashers that you had at the time or
Yeah.
the gore fest that you had at the time. But it's just like this fun, weird fucking movie full of like, why did everybody want to make New York look so fun? Did New York really look like that in the 80s?
It's like wet.
Just wet.
It's
and
just wet
gross,
all the time.
and just like everyone's either fucking homeless or a cop.
Right. And the
Like,
wet
there's
look.
no in between. Like
Everybody has wet hair.
you either join a gang, become a cop, or become homeless.
So the Warriors, Home Alone, or homeless people.
That's it.
Or Snake
All right.
Plissken.
Well, I mean, you have the home alone people in the suburbs.
Or in this case,
That's what I was going for, Dave.
with this one,
New York.
you can be
Welcome to New York.
John Hurt's
You got three
character, George, and this one is a photographer. I don't really know what his actual job is, other than he takes pictures of shit.
He's a photographer. That's what he does.
Soon as
He's
lady,
a dickhead photographer, just like in real life.
Yeah, as soon as the lady and her dog are fucking murdered to death, we get the title screen. It's just C.H.U.D, and you get this 80s music, which the score for this movie is actually really fucking good, too. And then we get George just standing at his window, taking pictures of shit while his like wife is showering or what the fuck ever. And then like this dude named Derek is calling him nonstop, which makes him. This scene makes me laugh every time I see it as an adult, because it's like when you're a kid, you're like, yeah, fuck that answer machine. But the dude just like leaves him a message, just like, hey man, if you could get back to me on it, instead of just like hitting okay stop. Which by the way, answer machines when you're calling it live, they stop on their own. You know, you leave the fucking message and stuff. For some reason, like George, after the message is over with, he's just like, oh, thanks, Derek, and like fucking punches it. I'm like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Derek must be an asshole.
And then, what is it?
No.
Like, literally 2 minutes in time later, he answers the phone for Derek. And acts like it's no beef or anything. He literally goes in a room. His girlfriend's just like, I'm doing a photo shoot for a perfume ad. He's like, ooh, what are you going to be wearing? I'm John Hurt, and I'm always horny. She's like, I'm not telling you, motherfucker. You're taking the pictures. It's a surprise.
She's so excited.
Yeah, she's very excited because it's a perfume ad, and it's back when you can smell the ads because you scratch it.
Yeah,
That's exactly right.
sniffed
The
ads.
scratch, but I'm about to be a fucking scratch.
Why
and
Vogue
sniff
smelled so
in the
good.
middle of fucking Red Book, motherfucker. Or whatever book. I don't know what Red Book is. Wink, wink. But then the phone rings and it's Derek again. So he's like a crazy person because he just left a fucking message on the answer machine. But John Hurt's character is also kind of fucking weird for answering the phone, knowing that it's fucking Derek. And then after that, like they do this like real thing where they introduce us to all the characters. Next thing we go to the police precinct, which by the way, another thing with movies. Police precincts are either like there's not enough people there. It's like one desk and a captain, and like a jail cell, or there's like 8,000 people fucking running around. Like, and this is the one where there's like 8,000 people. The phones are ringing nonstop, like it's a fucking like Make-A-Wish Foundation phone thing or some shit, phone-a-thon. And everyone's like, "Sir, did you see that?"
Fucking telethon at the cop station.
Yeah, it's just like fucking nonstop.
It's a fundraiser.
There's just like fucking cigarettes everywhere. The dude, like the detective Bosch walks through, who becomes like one of our three main
Christopher
guys
Curry.
in this, gets like a fucking like I don't know folder like shoved on him, and she's just like, "You're taking this case today. Your name's all over it." And he's not like, "Bitch, I'm your boss." He's just like, "All right, like
He just takes it.
That's fucking Wanda, motherfucker. I haven't had my coffee or my cigarettes or my blowjob yet, so I'm not gonna get mad at her." And then he sits down, and they're like,
"This could have been Tom Atkins."
Yeah, that would have been. Dude, if it was Tom Atkins,
it would have been
perfect.
He would have got that blowjob.
Tom Atkins would have been like, "Fuck you. This is your case.
Yeah.
My wife's dead while she was prostituting with the dog last night."
Well, she doesn't know that. He doesn't know that yet.
Oh my God! I almost threw up on the mic.
Oh, he doesn't know that his dog was prostituting.
That's right. She's the pimp. That's great. Wait, this is really illegal.
Sir, this is New York in the 80s. I don't know if you heard my previous description, but shit just goes down, and that dog could not join a gang, so it had to fuck.
So Christopher Curry as Bosch, he's only in the Starship Troopers and his bit part in Red Dragon. But I remember him in Starship Troopers because he's fucking, he's what's his face's dad. He gets nuked. Who's the
Casper Van Dien.
Thank you,
Casper
Casper.
Van Dien, yeah.
How could I forget the name Casper?
And we forgot to mention that
we didn't forget
the girlfriend Lauren
Kim.
Kim Geist.
Yes,
it's her first movie.
It's her first movie.
It's her first acting.
What did she do after this? Because I don't know.
Oh, she did.
She's in Brazil. She's
yeah.
like the muse of the whole movie, the fantasy film Brazil.
She was in Manhunter, Homeward Bound.
Yeah, she's actually
Why
Will
does
Graham's
Manhunter keep
wife
coming
in Manhunter.
Is she one of the dogs in Homeward Bound?
Jesus Christ!
No, I mean maybe. Who knows?
She didn't age well.
She did the what was it? I Know What You Did Last Saturday, the 14th, or whatever the fuck the movie is.
Oh, I know. That like the spoof.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah.
There's too many of those.
Well, she did one of them, and I don't remember.
Shriek
her.
If You Know What I
That's
Did Last
it.
Friday the 13th.
Which was probably one of the worst ones, I think.
That was the one that was made for TV on USA. I wouldn't know that, but yeah,
that's why it's so bad.
That was a
on
made
DVD.
for TV one. I'm sure it got a DVD release unrated, but I'm a Monday Night Raw guy. So
Well, it
I
has
know
the girl
all
from
the USA
90210 in it,
originals.
right?
Tori Spelling?
No, the Thiessen girl, whatever her name is.
Tiffany
Yeah,
Amber
that's,
Thiessen?
and then she's like it doesn't matter.
It does.
Somebody, tell us in the
not.
comments section of YouTube who we
Somebody's just gonna fucking actually Shriek If You Know What You Did at Halloween, the best parody of horror. You got everything right. And like
no, it didn't. It's awful.
And you're like, fuck you. But
Frankie Faison is actually a cop. So he's a sergeant in the police station. And Frankie Faison, he's in every cannibal movie, like Hannibal the Cannibal movies.
Hannibal the Cannibal.
Yeah. What else? I actually made a note about that motherfucker. I love that dude. A Maximum Overdrive, and he's in Exterminator 2, which actually I really like.
Exterminator 2 is super underrated because both those movies are underrated.
I think so.
Mario Van fucking Peebles, guys.
Oh man, everybody loves Mario Van Peebles.
Somebody has to. Probably his dad. That's about it.
So we get Bosch included.
We get Bosch included, and then we kind of jump right from that to Daniel Stern, who runs like this homeless factory. I don't know what you call it.
It's a soup kitchen.
Is it really a soup kitchen, though?
Yes, because he's making fucking soup.
Yeah, because they make fun of him. The government makes fun of him for running a soup kitchen.
Yeah, but it's like an underground soup kitchen. It's not like a normal soup kitchen.
Well, it's for the people that live underground because they can't live on the streets.
He lives
they don't
in the
have
streets
homes.
by the door, remember?
Yeah, it's just a bizarre soup kitchen.
I love this job.
And he's super like grimy and kind of homeless looking too. And we find out from him that homeless people are missing or vanishing.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I don't know where all my homeless people are at. So Captain Bosch goes down there to investigate, and they got some weird history because they're instantly just like, they're talking to each other, but it's in that like, fuck you type of way.
Yeah, it's like a buddy cop all of a sudden.
He's like, I told you these people are missing. What else do you want? Bosch is like, I don't really know what you're talking about. And he's like, fucking people are missing, motherfucker. And Bosch is like, let's just walk together while I look at a clipboard. And
well,
he doesn't want to tell him that like the only reason he's interested is because of his wife.
Right.
He keeps his cards to his chest.
And in Daniel Stern's character, he even points out like, oh, so they send the police captain to do a random missing persons. What's going on?
Yeah, he's smart. He's street. He understands.
He's like, what's up with that, man? I got this dirty ass white shirt on. You know me. I know things.
He's kind of shaky, man. He's a wet bandit.
He is a wet bandit. He actually aged pretty well because he looked exactly like that when we get to Home Alone.
That dude is not aged. Daniel fucking Stern. He doesn't age.
I don't know what he looks like now.
Okay, well, he didn't age up until 20 years ago.
He looked pretty good. He looked pretty good in Rookie of the Year. I think that was the last time I saw him. Maybe City Slickers. I don't know which one came out first.
Well, he did. He was in Frankenweenie, and then he was in Leviathan. I think it's the only other horror film. Leviathan.
I've always liked that dude. He seems a lot cooler than John Hurt is.
You know that's a fact.
Yeah,
it's got to be.
Yeah, John.
He's
Hurt.
actually like a bronze statue sculptor guy now. That's what he does.
So in this, I'm trying to remember.
I randomly found this shit.
Yeah, no, I saw that too when I was looking
did you?
at it.
Okay.
He's like super into art and does like statues and shit. And there's like you can actually find pictures of like his artwork and shit online as well.
Yeah, him and Jim Carrey hang out probably.
Yeah. Well, I think he just kind of said, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna go do art. Fucking, I don't need to do any of this shit."
He's got the Home Alone money. He doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah, he's got Home Alone money, Rookie of the Year money. He's good.
I wonder if he got paid the same amount as
Joe
Pesci did. I bet he didn't. Joe Pesci money.
Probably.
I don't know. He didn't have to go do 8 heads in a duffel bag, so I don't know who made the most money.
Ooh, yeah, and then retire.
And
then come back.
We'll fucking see. He didn't have to do like stereotypical gangster roles for the rest of his fucking life, so who the fuck knows?
So it takes these yokel fuckers. They're not yokels. One of them is a yokel, and the other one's just a cop. And it takes them forever to get down inside of this under the ground. It's like another door. Yeah. Oh, wait, another door. What's that? Those are treats for the homeless people. I leave them here because you never know. They're still there, by the way, so that's how they know they're missing. The door.
And this is weird. Yeah, and this is
all
like
I got.
The sewers, I guess, in this movie are connected to like literally every building.
Yeah, I know.
Like every building has direct
It's
access
like the underneath the
to
city of like Seattle or whatever.
a sewer.
I've never stayed in New York City, so I don't know.
I don't
Maybe
know.
it's true.
So
I don't want to go here.
So if you listen and you're from New York, please let us know when we post this, either in the YouTube comment section, Facebook, wherever, if like your house is like right over a sewer. I have visited New York and know
pictures.
where I stayed.
Yeah.
This fucking sewer entrance in it.
Just didn't think to look.
But these are like casual, like it's like the sewer is my basement. It's a basement that never ends, full of homeless people.
Well, you got to feed the friends.
You should feed them if they're going to live under your fucking house.
They're all like crust fund kids.
Keep them happy, man. Which is fun. I never knew that was a thing. That probably was a thing at some point, though. The homeless just staying in the sewers. I mean, that's probably
It probably still is a thing.
still is a thing. I don't know so much here.
Well, not here, but I mean in bigger cities like that.
Bigger
I mean,
cities, yeah.
it's you can't stay on the streets. They'll kick you off the streets.
Oh, if you live in Louisville, they'll bulldoze your whole fucking encampment like and they live.
I appreciate that.
Let's not get into this.
And then, how does John Hurt end up in the sewers? George. What leads to them? Because I know he's taking. So his whole project is going back to George and John Hurt's character. So keep in mind, Daniel Stern is detective are together now, talking about these missing homeless people.
And John
Hurt's
photos.
the photographer for the homeless people. Like he had a group that he was.
That asshole Derek wanted him to go down to the sewers and get some more pictures.
That's what it was.
And he saw his friend. He was at the police station. for something. I
Did
don't
he
remember.
do
He
a?
was at the police station and he
We're
saw.
so prepared. Did he do
no,
like an
no,
interview magazine?
I know
thing, or-
exactly what it was.
The
It
ladies
was,
at the police station that he's filming.
yeah, the lady was trying to steal a gun. A homeless lady was trying to steal a gun from a cop, and she called him because he took the pictures of her.
Right.
So he goes and bails her out at this point, and he goes to take her
Back to
back
the
to the sewer
sewer.
because he wants to see his other friend, which is homeless guy number 3. I can't remember. And they go down
Victor.
there, and they
Well, Victor's introduction's the best. So it's like,
I
it's John Hurd. Keep in mind, like I don't think Daniel Stern and his cop have left the sewers yet, but they're on like a separate section of the homeless sewers. Homeless sewers are big, and so
I've
now
seen it.
John Hurd and the homeless lady that he's filming because he was like taking pictures of her family, which was gonna make him famous somehow apparently. They're going down there to look for her brother, and because he wants a gun. And John Hurt's first question to him is, who's like laying in like a hospital bed thing, or like a homeless hospital bed, all bloodied up because he got
There's a difference.
bit by something. And he's like, what do you need a gun for? And he's like, to shoot those ugly fuckers. You're like, bro, I don't like ugly people either.
God
but,
damn.
but that's an overreaction. Because that's what he says. Is to shoot those ugly fuckers. And of course, like, it kind of goes from there of just like, oh yeah, maybe they're fucking crazy. I don't really believe them that this is going on.
Yeah.
But
He has to show them the bite.
Oh yeah. He lifts up his bandages and just sees like part of his leg just fucking
It's
gone.
fucking gone. It looks awful.
it's fucking gone.
The effects are great.
Yeah, and keep in mind, we still haven't seen a CH.U.D at this point.
You don't know what it is.
Like, we don't know what a CH.U.D looks like. And the movie really doesn't do the reveal till the last, 30 minutes where you really get to see the full body. You see the arm and shit like that throughout, off and on.
They took a really classic approach
But-
to this film in Monsters instead of just
Yeah.
being like, here's a
Instead of
slasher
in your
movie.
face.
Very Jaws.
A
sort of.
very classic approach to saving money, yes.
Yeah, damn it! You beat me to it. I was gonna say they didn't have the dollars to be like hand puppet.
Yeah, well, I know they redesigned the CH.U.D masks several times.
Yeah,
Probably due to money. They were originally more animalistic, but then they decided to go with a little bit more human. But we're jumping ahead.
very sloth-like. I love
Very
you,
sloth.
Chunk.
So at this point, you have two stories going on. You have them down in this John Hurd down in the sewers, and then you have the Reverend and Bosch. They're investigating their own thing, and they
Calling
come
him the Reverend.
the Reverend, whatever. They
That's like the one line in the movie.
The Reverend.
the Reverend Daniel Stern.
the Reverend Daniel Stern
That's
from here on
great.
out. But
He
they're
never acts like a reverend.
they're digging into it too, and at a certain point they come up to the NRC, who are calling the shots from behind the scenes.
Yeah,
The Nuclear Regulatory Commission.
I just remember.
Now, are you referring to the meeting where they get the meeting with them?
That's a little bit later. Yes.
Okay.
It's like a few minutes later.
That's a few minutes later. Yeah. Fuck it.
We can
Talk
skip
about
it.
the meeting.
Well, they end up
The cop has the power to round up the officials of the city
somehow this
and get them all together.
detective gets all these city officials and this military douchebag Wilson all together in one room, and they allow Soup Kitchen Reverend Daniel Stern in this room.
They don't even know who he is yet. They just
no.
allow him in there with his
He's
bag.
just-
It
yeah.
could be a bomb.
He dressed up a little bit. He cleaned up a little bit.
He cleaned
His
up a
hands
little
look like
bit.
he fucking
Took his
was
apron
needing-
off.
Okay,
But he's ready to talk mad shit. Like, he's carrying the fuck out walking into this place. He's like, we're gonna talk,
I need to talk to your manager.
we're gonna fucking talk about whatever the fuck's going on. So
Friends are missing.
yeah, they're mentioning the missing people and the government, or whoever these fuckers are. I want to get their titles wrong, but Wilson's the asshole here. He's like the military leader doing
He's the head of the
cover-up.
NRC, right?
They're moving some kind of radioactive waste through town, but protesters cut them off, and then the city cut them off from moving it throughout town. So they claim they had to leave the trucks parked in like one certain area. That's their story. That's the only way the radioactive shit could get out. They're denying dumping it or doing anything at this
I wouldn't
point.
do that.
Because this whole movie's about government cover-ups and pollution and shit like that. That's really
Shitting
what
on
it is.
homeless people.
Shitting on homeless people. It is like one of those things that's like, hey, we are a goofy horror movie, but we are trying to point out how this fucked up shit can and does happen with like these cover-ups and the bullshit that happens behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Eventually, Daniel Stern just keeps going. He's like, there's definitely something going on. That's not word for word he says, but you know what? I'm not good at this shit.
Mostly.
It's
And he's
mostly
like,
that.
He's like,
yeah.
this is fucking bullshit, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, Wilson's like, no, you're bullshit, bitch. He didn't say bitch. He's a government official, so he said something like safe word about it or whatever.
Probably dick.
But then he drops his fucking folder.
And it says,
And for some reason,
Well, they don't care about him until he's like, I've got photos and
Yeah.
proof. And they're
Yeah.
like, wait, hang on.
yeah,
Photos?
oh no, but he drops his folder. And it
Yeah.
says,
that comes,
CH.U.D.
CH.U.D. Like, Top secret. There's not like a cover sheet. Nothing.
No,
to, like,
it's just a vanilla folder.
C.H.U.D. And they're like, what's C.H.U.D stand for? And he's like, cannibalistic, humanoid, underground dweller. But the thing is, like, later on, we discovered that C.H.U.D stands for something else, right? What is it?
Contamination, hazard, urban disposal.
So why wouldn't you say that?
I know. Why would
Doesn't
you
that
use
sound
the
way
real
better
term?
than saying
Cannibalistic
cannibalistic, humanoid, underground dweller?
Well, he knew he was caught, but he was trying to deflect at that
Because
point.
it sounds like something they have nothing they could not have created or being a part of. When you give them the actual official thing, it's like way more like that is our structure. This is what we do.
Yeah.
The other thing was like something we just made up. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, hey,
Glowworms
this
or
guy's
something.
just quick on his feet.
So what happened was the original name was that, right? Whatever the fuck.
Contamination,
you just said it
hazard, urban disposal.
made. That's what C.H.U.D meant.
That's actually what it really
But then
means.
when this radioactive shit was turning these homeless people into these like alien monsters,
Spoiler.
they were like, "Hey,
Too late, Dave.
how can we what do we call this now?" And people were like, "Well, we already have C.H.U.D, so we have to use the same abbreviation. We can't change it."
Yeah, we've already printed the jackets, the business
Yeah,
cards.
right.
We already
I got a
see
director's
that.
hat.
He's like, "I'm not fucking changing it. I'm not rebranding this whole government operation,
I know,
guys.
man.
That's too much fucking paperwork, and I don't got the printer capacity." And then some dude's just like high as fuck on like PCP or whatever. It's like, cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller. And they're like, what? And they're like, well, you said it eats people, right? Like, yeah. And I go, and it's in the sewer? Yeah. That's underground. Cannibals. It fits. And they're like, duh, fucking Dave is the fucking man.
Dude, it's like
He's
the
doing
character of Brad Pitt from True Romance. He's just on the couch. He's like, I got an idea.
I got an idea.
You want to smoke a bowl?
I mean, like, because keep in mind, like, this movie, it's got some funny shit in it, but it plays it, it plays it very straight the whole time, and I do think it's intentionally funny. I think a lot of people don't get that there are parts where it's supposed to be funny, but they do play it straight regardless.
Yeah, this one's way different.
And it's just when he says this fucking shady military guy's like cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller.
And they just take it and they're like, huh?
Yeah, and everybody's like,
that's shocking enough.
and Daniel Stern's just like, I fucking knew it. That's exactly what I was thinking. And then you said it. I was thinking it. You said it. I
Holy
was
shit.
Thinking it.
You think Daniel Stern is Q? The QAnon?
Oh god.
Probably. He's probably like fucking making bronze statues of fucking Epstein.
Holy shit.
Anyways, back to the movie.
Just a fight.
We don't need the homeless people in the world to do these kind of things.
We don't.
So
what happens next?
God, I'm trying to remember what happens next after that.
That's
God.
when we start getting a little subplots.
Yeah.
We have like the diner scene. We've got like
Oh, the diner scene. We have to talk about the diner scene.
Well, I was gonna say that you start.
Dude,
they include all these little characters that really don't have much to do at the end.
The diner scene. Explain the diner scene to me
The
because I
diner
think I'm
scene
blanking
is
on
where
the
we
diner.
first get. Dave, you have anything? I
The
see you
diner
excited.
scene is when you see John Goodman.
Yeah,
That's
John-
at
Jay
the end.
Thomas is his sidekick.
Is that at the end?
John Goodman's at the end of the movie.
No, he's in the diner.
Well,
is that the end? That's not the very end.
Oh, he's in
by,
it
by this
twice.
time we've
Yeah.
already seen they're coming up.
Yeah.
They're mutated. I mean, Victor has his gun. I mean, that's where we're at with the dining room. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's like a whole little collage of like.
Well, the
Little
last scene in the
scenes.
movie is John Goodman though.
No, not at all.
No. This
Not
is
at
during
all.
this is during the subplot.
When the woman gets kidnapped from the
Oh,
telephone booth with
yeah.
the kid in it, like they start coming out, and then they have to deal with it.
And we forgot
and then-
about the part where
and
Bosch,
Bosch
I
is
think
like-
there's-
Bosch finds his wife's head.
I
Yeah,
think there's two different.
I was gonna try to include all of that.
There has to be two different releases of this thing because the ending I have, John Goodman's at the end.
Well, I mean, it's all. That's what I'm trying to like. There's a whole crescendo. We're building towards the end.
But I'm saying the end of the movie is the John Goodman scene.
That's crazy.
No, it can't be.
No.
Because in that scene, he fucking dies, right?
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. That's
well, he's
the,
not a major player in this.
That's the last thing. They walk into the restaurant and they get the Chud breaks through like the windows or whatever.
Yeah, but that's not the ending. I remember the ending. The actual ending. Well, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So
this is and
so
that,
I have the Arrow Blu-ray.
yeah,
And that's what I
got.
just watched.
I would
yeah.
say so. Bosch gets
That's
called
right.
down to they found a body, so they go down and he's like, "What is it?" We see the body, and it's a head, and it's his wife. And now he's
that's kinda
distraught,
sad.
and they're like, "Captain, get away!" And they take him to a bar because that's what you do. Your wife's been eating, you go to the bar and you drink. You just keep drinking, and it's like everybody
I
knows
would
they're
do
just like pouring. Here you go, dude. I don't know how you console somebody like that. Like, sorry, you found your wife's severed head.
Yeah.
Drink some more.
Why not? Why not? Why wouldn't
What?
you do that?
It wa-
No,
when
I'm
you-
saying no.
I would just keep drinking.
Yeah, just keep drinking. But so, and you've got all these little subplots that go on from there. I think I'm trying to remember. The Chuds start to come out.
Yeah.
Well, you also have that cop that's following John Hurd.
Right. They do the whole try to gas them underneath the city. It doesn't work because obviously these things can't die that way. They try the flamethrowers. They try all these little things.
Oh yeah, we forgot about the team they sent down there.
Oh, I didn't forget. I was trying to get up tall.
Well, yeah, there's also the weird thing. Like, so the government sends their people down there, and the detective sends his people.
I like how they meet.
And the detective's people has flamethrowers?
Yeah, because they were trying to push him around. He's like, your guys has a camera. My guys has a fucking flamethrower.
What police precinct has flamethrowers just sitting around?
New York.
Well, I mean, have you seen Night of the Creeps?
So like, hey, we got some big fucking bugs here,
Yeah.
guys. We gotta fucking get this shit together. Get our flamethrowers out.
They got Walter Paisley in the basement with a flamethrower, giving it to Tom Atkins. Like, here you go, Tom.
Yeah, if I had to go in the sewer, I'd take a.
That's a Night of the Creeps.
Yeah, and another weird thing about this, all this shit happens separately, by the way. I know this is like a fucking messed up podcast and we're all over the place, but the movie's kind of like that too, because like John Hurt's character, the photographer, Daniel Stern, and the detective, all this shit goes separate. Like these guys aren't just doing all this shit together. Like they're
Yeah, it's like
researching
Star
the same
Wars.
fucking thing, but everything's happened separately till literally the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Right.
Where
it
you
all
know
comes
Stern and
together.
they come together and they instantly like, well, like, yeah, you're good.
Right. We're gonna blow this fucker up. We're gonna Bosch gets underneath there. They roll the truck on top of the manhole so he can't get out.
I think before we get to that, it's important to talk about the scene with John Hurd's girlfriend, who we talked about earlier.
Oh yeah.
She's alone in the apartment, as one is, and goes to take a shower, and blood just starts shooting out of like the fucking drain, like all over her.
Yeah. And what does she do?
Freaks the fuck out and gets out of the shower like a normal person.
Yeah.
But
But
then,
that takes a second.
then-
She's all like, yeah.
but what's weird is like, it's like they're pranking her because there's like all these weird little things happen to her in the house. And it's like the chuds are just like, time to prank this bitch. This is going to be a lot of fun. But then eventually they bust through the fucking door and they're chasing her around this house. And she's pushing like furniture and shit in front of the door trying to stop these chuds from getting her. It's,
Yeah, she found she went to the basement too, and she found the dog.
She found the dog in the basement.
She
I did forget about that.
Because she opens up the fucking thing to the sewer, and she because she drops a ring or something. It goes down into the sewer. And she's like, "Oh no, I got to get it." And the whole time I'm thinking, like, you're gonna fucking die. Like, why would you go down into the sewer? If I dropped a ring from my basement into a sewer, it'd just be gone.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It'd just be gone. I don't
I'll get a wrench. I'm going down there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No,
It's
not at
also
all.
once again weird to have direct access to the fucking sewer from your place. Oh yeah, she finds the dog hanging, right?
Yeah,
Has the noose
the
around
dog's
it.
hanging, and then she goes upstairs and fucking chud.
And that's why. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's like they're fucking with her. There's the hanging dog. There's the blood in the drain and all this shit. And then the Chud's like, it's time to get her.
Yeah, it's like the
Motherfucking
Michael
taser.
Myers, Jason Voorhees guys. Like that's they took that little a bit of like horror movies and like we're gonna fuck with the heroine. It's like this is kind of out of place for the rest of this film. It
Yeah.
doesn't make a lot of sense.
And she doesn't really get. I guess she kind of does, but she doesn't necessarily get that final girl scene to where it makes sense to do that.
I don't think they resolved her character at all for me. Not for me.
No,
If we're gonna get serious about like critiquing this film.
Yeah, because this is one of those times where this one doesn't have the final girl. The main focus is definitely on John Hurt and Daniel Stern's characters, and the detective's
final
there,
Bosch.
but he's definitely just like the side,
the final Bosch
the
character.
third man, the third wheel. But they do eventually decide that the way that the government is gonna cover this up is to like put gas through the sewer to kill all the chuds. And in order to do so, they are going to park these giant trucks over each, what are those fucking manholes?
Manholes,
Over
yeah.
each manhole to hold them down. And then Wilson makes a comment stating, make sure you don't hit any potholes. I don't know why it's set up like this, but
Because it could
the
fucking
truck
blow
will
up.
explode if you
Right.
hit a pothole.
It's a good thing that we put him on top
Yeah.
of each manhole that's gonna explode.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing to say. Like, hey, if you hit a pothole with this giant truck, there's no detonator like under the truck. Like, why the
Right.
fuck would it even cause it? But Wilson goes like batshit crazy trying to cover this up. At this point, he's trying to murder anybody that knows anything just to cover it up, which is overly supervillainous, I guess.
That's what you do.
Yeah, it's just it goes from being like like almost like a smooth cover up where I can see that to like, oh, you're like blatantly in the streets like shooting at motherfuckers now. He's like, nobody can know.
It's American Psycho at the end.
Yeah. Well, so John Hurt and the Reverend are
The Reverend Stern.
They trap them in the sewers with the Chud.
Yeah.
So they're going to kill them with the C.H.U.D. That's the whole point. So they can get away with it, and they cover it up. And while they're down there, they find all the toxic waste.
Yeah, so the camp that we mentioned earlier
Aha.
with Victor that needs a gun and all them. Well, Victor's they're all dead. He's ripped in half, like literally
C.H.U.D.
ripped in half. And I think who founds it? Daniel Stern or John Hurd? Who's the one that finds? Oh, it's Daniel Stern founds them. And then he kills one of them. Like one of them's still alive, but he's a C.H.U.D. now, so he kills him. And now the lady that did getting the pictures taken of her earlier, who was like the good guy, for some reason doesn't understand this situation at all, even though it's been explained to her and she's witnessed it. She's like, "You killed my brother, motherfucker," and just starts fucking going at it with him. So that bitch is dead. She's gone. Whatever. Fucking useless. Got pictures of her already. We'll sell them.
She's
He's a
immortal.
photographer, man.
Yeah. And that's when John Hurt's character shows up because he makes the save, right? I think she's about to kill Daniel Stern,
Yes.
and then he makes the save and gets rid of that bitch. And then he's like, "Yeah, I know who you are. You're the photographer, right?" And then I think John Hurt makes a comment like, "You're the soup kitchen guy" or some shit. He just sure as fuck doesn't call him Reverend. And
It's Reverend Stern.
but they're like, "We gotta get the fuck out of here," because suddenly it's like C.H.U.D.ville. Like there's all these C.H.U.D s, and now we're getting like good shots of them now, full body shots. Keep in mind, like these aren't really zombies; they're like aliens. They got this like green, gross body. They're pretty thick. They're not like skinny or anything.
Glowing eyes.
Yeah,
And
like
they can distort their body as well, stretch
Yeah.
their limbs and their heads and their necks.
yeah, and they got these like piranha like teeth.
Yeah.
Too. So they're pretty fucking gross and gnarly looking. So John Hurd and Daniel Stern are trying to escape this sewer. But when they get to the manhole, they can't push it up because the truck's over it.
That could explode at any minute.
Yep.
Well, there's no potholes, so what's the problem?
but
That's fine.
but luckily, our crafty detective is available.
Yes, and he is trying to find the keys. I forget how they get a hold of him, but they get a hold of him. They're like, he's like, "Meet me here. I'll get you out."
Cell phone.
It wasn't a cell phone.
No, it's Dave. Zach Morris fucking.
So he's trying to find keys to this van because he's got to get him out. And here comes the Wilson guy. He's like, "Oh, you can't fucking."
This is where Wilson goes super
he
villain.
goes
by
super
the way.
villain.
Yeah.
Like he just takes him to an alley, and not even like all the way down the alley, just
Yep.
like right around the corner. And he's like, "I'm just gonna fucking shoot you."
By the way, we did leave this out about how they get a hold of him because I made a note about it because I thought it was funny.
What's that?
They take the headset off the decapitated head.
Oh yeah,
There's
Oh.
the fucking heads there. They like
From-
literally yank the headset off of him to get a hold of
That's
him.
right. That's right. Because he sees it
Yeah.
and there's no audio, and he's like, "Oh, you got to plug it in." He plugs it in. They're like, "Holy shit, Chief, you want to see this?"
Yeah.
Bosh.
They're because the guy's like not paying attention. He keeps like the worst like security guy in the fucking world, by the way, because like when you watch this movie, the dude's looking at the screen like with a magazine in hand, and he looks at it for like 2 seconds, and he just spins around and ignores it, and then turns back around. And it happens to be he finally catches it like the third time they come on screen. But like, why wouldn't you just set that way?
Well, the
Like,
thing,
there's no reason to fucking turn around.
he's lazy, but
But he can have his magazine. But he
He's
can have his
big and
magazine
lazy.
that way.
well, he couldn't prop up his feet, maybe. I don't know. But the thing that's weird to me is like, so that was the group with the flamethrower and the cameras that went down
Yeah.
earlier, and you see them sort of die. Are they just watching this feed? Like just waiting for this feed to come back? Because this guy is literally, his job is to sit there and wait for this feed of all these people that are fucking dead to come back.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing during all that. I think maybe might be something that we missed. Maybe he knew they were all dead already, and now we're doing the whole, gassing them up thing down there.
And maybe he thought he'd catch a ghost.
But there's
that's-
also a katana scene where a Chud gets its head cut off somewhere around this part too. There's a sword, and
Oh, yeah.
there's like, yeah. I was like, motherfucker, I'm not going crazy.
No,
I
no, you're
swear.
not. You're not losing. And you are correct about the fucking Indian with John Goodman. You were correct.
Oh, do you just remember that?
Yeah.
After making me feel like a fucking idiot
No,
all
no,
this
no,
time?
I just remember it all coming together, and then of course we haven't gotten to the whole explosion part yet. At least nobody's mentioned it.
Yeah,
Or we
we're gonna
lose-
get to that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Because Wilson's gone full bad guy at this
Right.
point.
God,
He's like,
well,
I'm gonna-
you motherfuckers.
No!
Y'all made me feel like I was fucking crazy.
Not at all. Maybe.
Maybe
I
I'm
was just
crazy.
like,
I
I
don't know.
have the Arrow Blu-ray. I watch it. I have the VHS.
I don't know. I watched it on Prime recently, I guess. So, anyways,
Now you're trying to jump me.
so Wilson's gone full bad guy at this point.
Wilson's gone full bad guy. So Bosch is trying to, of course, move this truck off the fucking manhole to save John Hurd and Daniel
Finally
Stern
gets the keys.
from the fucking Chud account. Well, yeah, he does have the keys. Wilson just goes full bad guy. He's like, fuck it. I'm going to shoot you, motherfucker. And he shoots him. And, you think Bosch is going to be fucking dead. at that point, I think he gets in. Doesn't he move the truck for some reason? How the fuck did they get out?
He moves the truck.
Yeah, he moves the truck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that
they
point-
could get out of the manhole.
Bosch? Oh, yeah. Okay,
no,
that's what-
Bosch is
that's-
in the
that-
manhole.
That's what it was. Bosch moves the truck first. Yeah, and then Wilson shoots him.
And
And then,
yeah.
but the thing was, Bosch, that's what fucked me up. Bosch couldn't open up the fucking manhole. He was like yanking at it, and then he gets shot. But somehow, like, they're able to just push it up from the bottom pretty easily.
Well, I mean, when you're
They didn't use a lot of manpower there. Neither of them have a lot of manpower.
takes a lot of power to
There's
make
like
soup all day.
there's not a bicep between them.
No, he's a photographer. I don't know.
And he's a soup kitchen guy.
So that's the
He
most
lifts soup.
unbelievable part about this movie.
Is getting out of the manhole.
It's like they never would have been able to lift
Well,
that manhole.
And we kind of lose our hero.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
They never say if he's dead or not.
No, he
though.
doesn't.
He
die.
talks at
Well,
the end
because
So-
he talks at the end.
because they
He has this.
escape.
He has like a little like of a line. I always felt like, oh,
Yeah,
we lost him.
They escape. Wilson's there. The girlfriend magically shows up to save them, but he's like shooting at them now, right? Oh, he's driving at them.
He's driving at him.
So he's in this big ass truck and he drives at them. John Hurd, I guess he's got some Wild West skills because he shoots him point blank through the fucking window. The truck goes into the manhole, which goes
Guess
back
what?
to what he said at first. Hey, don't hit a pothole. And then the motherfucking thing just goes boom.
Just explodes.
And then, of course, that would have to cause the explosion under
Yeah.
there as well because, then the whole city burns and New York is no more. And that's the end of the movie.
That's what got me about the end of that movie.
No
is
more
that
New
Yeah,
York.
no, no,
I'm
Daniel
sorry.
Stern is like laying on the ground, Bosch is laying on the ground,
Yeah,
like
he's
right,
bleeding.
bleeding to death, right next to like the little entrance down into the sewer.
Yeah.
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 It's like the Chud could totally grab him. I think that should have totally
That could have been a
happened.
great like Nightmare on Elm Street
Like
fucking
just
ending.
Chud just comes,
Yank him
just
down.
pull him
Through
through,
the
yanks
hole.
him down because like their whole plan won't work.
That would have been cool, but instead the ending was John Goodman at a diner.
Yeah, that's
and the
right.
Chud
See, I
shows up.
thought that was
No,
earlier
you're
in the
so
movie.
right. You're so right.
Motherfuckers.
Yeah, the two
No,
drunk
you are
guys,
so right.
the two drunk guys sitting out front, right?
Yeah, and then
And,
John
like-
Goodman walks in and they're like
Yeah,
fucking.
and like they're getting served by what's her name? She's like the grandmother from like Paranormal Activity 3, 4, and 5. She's the old grandma.
oh, cool.
Yeah, and then she's serving them, and then you have Jay Thomas and John Goodman, and Derek's not crazy.
Yeah, I was just like,
I know
you
it happened. I just don't
motherfuckers.
remember when
I've
it
watched this
happened.
movie so many times, and you're acting like it's like a mid-movie montage, and I'm like,
It's
what
not a
the
mid movie.
fuck?
It's
have I-
toward the end, but it's not the
But
end of the
well,
film.
you guys got to it like mid-movie. You're
It's
like,
true,
And then,
it's true.
and then this montage of things just starts happening.
Montage.
And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? That's the end of the film. And then I'm like thinking in my head, I was like, have I always had an alternate version of fucking Chud?
I have the TV version.
I missed one of my notes too. I had a note about complaining about the tunnels. I guess it was
Oh please! My complaint is Rob Zombie was going to remake this thing.
no. That was
I know.
that
That had
was
to be- that
bullshit.
had to be
That's his
like
new
a-
That
thing.
was an April Fool's joke. I
That's
think.
always the new April Fool's. Like Rob Zombie's going to remake everything you love.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how you can poke
What's
at
the new one he's
people,
going to
but-
do? He's supposed to remake something.
Oh,
we
well,
all love.
that's going to be a weird one. The Monsters?
yeah. God damn it.
And I don't know if that's going to even happen or not. Because he's had he had that T-Rex thing that he was going to do. He's had Halloween 3 that he was going to do. He's had the Chud rumor. And now we're on this. I feel like he's had like 4 projects that have absolutely fallen through.
Yeah.
And this is how we got like 31 probably. And
Make-
Lords of Salem, which I liked. So
Yeah.
whatever.
31's like made in your make it in your basement with your friends.
Yeah,
That's cool.
But that
With
is Chud,
production.
and the first Chud is a very like serious film. I mean, it does have its jokes and shit, but it's all about government conspiracies and Daniel Stern and John Hurd forming a bromance the last 10 minutes of the film.
Yeah, because they almost died together. They
They
bonded.
almost die together. They bond. They trust each other with each other's lives. All
I don't
of a
know if
sudden.
you've
It's
seen
very
Speed,
weird.
but that's how you become friends with somebody.
The Tark Bus movie.
Yeah,
yeah.
through a tense emotional.
That's how you end up fucking.
Yeah, so maybe that happened. I don't know.
What's the better sequel, Chud 2 or Speed 2 Cruise Control?
Chud 2
Oh
by
my
far.
God.
Well, I guess I can't say by far. They're both fucking awful.
Yeah,
they're
but-
awful fun.
So, and the only reason why I'm ending with the Chud thing, calling it kind of serious, is because Chud 2 comes after it.
It doesn't.
And I'm
yeah.
not so sure that the people that made Chud 2 have seen Chud.
Don't think they have.
It's not connected whatsoever.
They're not connected whatsoever. And
They say the word Chud.
Who the fuck did they hire to do the cover art for this VHS? Which, if we can magically make that pop up at some point, or if you guys can Google it when you get home if you're listening.
Steve's got a poster.
And Steve has a full fucking poster.
Look at that. Look at that.
So the poster for C.H.U.D 2 shows about 4 to 5 C.H.U.Ds on it, and the VHS does
That's
the
for
same.
YouTube viewers.
But if you've ever seen C.H.U.D 2, you would know that they don't look anything like this in this movie. In fact, they're not C.H.U.Ds at all. They're just zombies. They're smart zombies, essentially. They're functional zombies.
That's my notes. Yeah, exactly.
Think Pet Sematary 2, but funny.
Yeah, they talk, they drive, they
And
only
no
nibble.
front along.
They turn in a matter of minutes. They are fire retardant, and you can't blow them up with an RPG or a rocket launcher.
No, because they do that.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
and we're instantly like, when C.H.U.D 2 kicks off, we're instantly shown that this has a completely different tone because it's like this doctor walking through like this goofy fucking hospital.
Who is Clive Revell? He's the original emperor in Empire Strikes Back.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, he's also in, what is it? Legend of Hell House. Sorry.
Oh shit! You learn something new every day. But he has like this weird reanimator style injector, syringe injector. Hey, gonna inject you, man. And his job is to put down the last C.H.U.D, which he does. Walks into like the next thing you see is like this military meeting, and the military is like, the last remaining C.H.U.D is being terminated. Like they're having like a fucking press conference, by the way, at this point. And keep in mind, they're still using C.H.U.D. So we've learned that that's not what they meant by C.H.U.D at first, right? It meant something completely different. But now it's adopted the cannibalistic
it is
humanoid
what it
underground.
is.
Like you said, they had the folders and everything
We
already
got the
printed.
merch, we got the jackets, we got the fucking hoodies. We're not getting rid of this. We're sticking to it. We're gonna have press conferences where we have to say this word, and we're gonna hammer it home because we got hats to sell, motherfucker.
That's right, and that's where you meet
That's how Donald
Colonel
Trump is in
Masters, Robert Vaughn.
Oh, Robert Vaughn, who at this point in his career is just like, fuck it.
He
He did Superman 3 and this, and it's like, what did you do? Before this, you were like an award-winning
Man
actor,
from Uncle.
man.
I mean, like,
Well, yeah.
Magnificent Seven.
Yeah.
And the remake, Battle Beyond the Stars.
Isn't that the thing with most horror films, though, that we always have at least 1 to 2 actors or actresses that we're like, how did they end up in this?
This movie has a lot of stars.
This one has a lot, but I think it happens. I mean, I think most horror films that I've seen, especially ones that are outside like your normal franchises, have someone pop up that you're like, how the fuck did they get signed up for it?
Right.
Like, who do they owe money? And there's always like that Betsy Palmer story from Friday.
Oh, yeah.
31 that she
Nobody's
was
going
using-
to see this.
Yeah, no one's gonna see this, and she was using it to like buy a car or some shit.
That's
like
right,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, fuck, maybe he needed a car. We don't fucking know.
He's having a blast in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's because it's ridiculous. His character's ridiculous. In that meeting, they shut everything down. Like, we're not doing the C.H.U.D project anymore. Shut it down.
Yeah.
He's so pissed.
He's very upset. That's his baby.
That-
He even named
What's
the
his
C.H.U.D.
baby?
It's his baby, even though he was not in part 1.
No.
But it's his fucking baby. And in this one,
He should have been in the prequel.
Instead of flamethrowers now, the police and everyone has adopted fucking giant fire extinguishers.
Freeze
Yeah.
rays.
Yeah, freeze rays, because we freeze the last C.H.U.D.
Yeah.
So that's the game, is to go in and freeze the last C.H.U.D. So we get the military scene, we get the doctor injecting the last C.H.U.D. They freeze it, and they put it in like a fucking container that I would use to display like a model car. and that's where the C.H.U.D's laying.
Sleeping Beauty.
And just to go back to the looks of things, this guy just looks like a zombie with weird teeth. That's all. Just
Yeah, these have no, they don't look anything like the C.H.U.Ds
Yeah.
on the box, in the movie poster, or even the original film.
And the makeup's like not the best. I mean, it's fine for what they're doing, but it's literally just like make them kind of gray. And-
Yeah, they're
but,
just off colored.
but I mean, the first, if you watch C.H.U.D, in the first 6 minutes of C.H.U.D 2, you're gonna be like, is this a sequel? Because I don't feel like the tone's instantly like, okay, we're watching a comedy, because we instantly get that military scene, and then we go to a high school like biology class with like the entire classroom's in their fucking 30s. I mean, that's the oldest fucking.
That's how they do it.
It's
in
so
all the
bad.
movies.
I mean, those dudes are like fucking Steve. The main has a fucking like mullet that you would see in like a Bud Light commercial, and he's just like, man, don't you just hate school? And you always had to have like but this is like back in the 80s, you'd always had like the cool kid, but he has like the nerd friend. That's what you would do with the dudes.
The
Who's
dynamic,
actually
yeah.
hotter when he takes off his glasses.
Yeah,
And that's where you meet the one of Brian Robbins, who is
Cellar dweller, head
yeah.
of the class. He's the president of Nickelodeon.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
He's done
Right
a
now.
lot of TV. If you see his face, you'll recognize him,
Yeah.
especially from the 80s and 90s sitcoms.
Or if you like cellar dweller like I do.
Or if you like Cellar Dweller.
These guys, I didn't. and I didn't go to school in the 80s, obviously, but I mean, the frog thing was already kind of done with by the time I was in school. But he's like, watch what I can do. And the jock or whatever, the cool guy, like fries the frog to where it causes
dissecting the frogs. That's what he's talking about.
But he doesn't dissect it though. He electrocutes it
puts
and
a
shit.
Fucking car battery to it.
Yeah, and like electrocutes it, and everybody's like, "What
He's trying to show his skills, man.
You guys are gonna have detention, and like, you gotta go fix this. You gotta clean the corpse room." And they're like, the next shot is like they're in this high school storage unit. There's like a dead dog and like all these dead animals.
Yeah, it
in
looks
there.
like a set from Return of the Living Dead.
It
And I'm
absolutely does.
What school do they go to?
The teacher.
First, everyone's 30.
Everyone's 30. This is not college.
The teacher says, "Well, I've got a surprise for you. We're gonna see a real dead body tomorrow."
I've got one in the garage.
Well,
He got a dead body.
There's a dead body in the room too.
Right.
Now, what's this lead to, Dave?
Full
What happened?
blown, full blown dead body, and it's like it has like those like the freezer curtain between it and the rest of the world. That's it.
I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I know they lose the fucking
No,
body.
they bump it or they
bump
fucking
it,
fall it.
and it goes down the fucking highway. And
Yeah.
they don't go after it. They're like,
They run 20
Yeah.
feet and go, well, now what are we
So
going to do?
this high school is apparently this high school's just like right off the fucking expressway exit somehow.
And the dead body can really
and,
steer.
And the entrance to where they keep all the dead shit is literally like right pointing at the expressway. So this like garage door goes open and the cadaver's like body's like on the stretcher and it rolls the fuck out because they're trying to like fuck with it or whatever. And it goes down the expressway like fast. And there's like traffic swerving and like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
There's a dead body. And these two guys get it in their head. They're like, well, you know what we can do to replace it so we don't get in trouble? We can go steal a dead body from the hospital.
from the CDC.
Much
Yeah.
like fucking Night at the Creeps.
Yeah, they don't want to run. They're just lazy. They're just lazy. They're like, we'd rather go steal a
They
fucking
literally
body.
fucking run 20 feet and go, well, now what?
It's gone.
Yeah, they run. They stop by like a bush, and they're
It's
just like, "No."
ridiculous.
I mean, obviously the dead body is going to stop rolling soon, or like people are going to get murdered in traffic.
It's like a block away.
And also, like, you don't have to take the blame for the missing dead body. Like, there's no cameras in that school. You could have
Right.
just
This
been
is
like,
1980, whatever the fuck.
you could be
90.
like, we didn't show up, dude. I guess you got to give us detention because I didn't go wash your fucking dead animals.
What year did this movie come out? I might explain a few things.
Well, I think
Chud 2.
C.H.U.D was like 84. I can't
Yeah.
imagine C.H.U.D 2 followed it up.
Chud 2 was 89.
yeah, and if you can't tell, we're really, really happy about Chud 2.
And this one was originally slated
Yeah.
to be in the theaters, but they decided direct to VHS.
Yeah, New World, I think. No, New World released the original one, Roger Corman.
Vestron.
Yeah, and Vestron released this one, I think.
Yes.
Vestron.
Oh, I'm sorry. We can go on.
Oh, we haven't gotten past the holy. What the fuck? Let's go to the military base and get
Well,
dead
so-
bodies.
Yeah,
CDC.
That's where Darren.
That's where
so-
they're going. The
yeah.
CDC.
Well, they know what
Remember
they're
that.
doing when it comes to dead
Yeah.
bodies.
Yeah, and they sneak through pretty fucking easily to get to like the dead body room of a military project. Who once again, he's just in like this display case, and these two dorks don't even think going like, "Hey, that's not normally how a dead body would be displayed. Maybe there's something else with this thing." They're like, "No, let's fucking take them."
Yeah.
And they steal the body pretty fucking easily. And then they walk into Steve's house, whose parents are 4 years
me.
older than him. And
They're
they're watching a
classic-
penguin documentary.
watching a penguin. It's Alaska. You know what those are? Those are penguins.
Oh my God.
Which at that point, I'm pretty sure Steve like punts the poodle for barking at him. He's
Oh
just
no,
like-
no,
Yeah,
that's he does. He's fucking mean to his sister too. He's like he threatens to kill her. He kicks the dog and threatens a child
Thre-
all within a minute.
Well, he
And
doesn't.
we're
thre-
supposed to like this guy.
He doesn't threaten to kill her. He threatens that something will kill her. He's like, this dead body will come alive.
Sort of like how
You're
the mafia
dreaming.
is like, yeah, something might happen to you.
But to be fair,
I got
to,
friends.
to be fair to that character, I know I had to say that character because his name's fucking Steve and it causes mass confusion. He does say right after he says the mean shit to the little girl, he goes, "I'm gonna regret saying that when I'm older." So he does know, like, hey.
So
Yeah.
he knows it's
I just
was wrong, but
damaged
he
you.
didn't. But he
for the
still
next
kicked the
20
dog.
years.
But they take this corpse and they throw it in the fucking bathtub. And of course, like, the nerdy dude shows up and they're in the bathroom together. And for some reason, he's got the hair dryer.
He's playing
on.
with a hairdryer.
He's playing just.
Okay. House current cannot kill you, and it can't bring you back to life.
Well,
Go ahead.
you haven't seen all of C.H.U.D 2, have you? So let's just rewind a little bit.
No, Darren.
And keep in mind that this is a frozen C.H.U.D. Zombie, by the way. Picture him as a zombie, not as the C.H.U.D we described prior. It's just a dude.
It's just
military
Garrett
guy.
Graham,
It's-
which we didn't say.
Gary
Oh, we're
Graham-
going to.
Gary Graham wearing dog tags and like
Fucked up teeth.
kind of military gear with fucked up teeth. gray paint on his face, laying in a bathtub.
It's very Dawn of the Dead
Why?
makeup.
Why were they running the tub?
Yeah, I think
His
it's
mom was going to take a bath.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, like, your mom's going to take a bath, so you throw a dead body in there, just,
Yeah, just to get her smelling good. That's the first bath bomb, girls.
God.
So
Bath sauce. Oh god.
he gets startled, and for some reason, when Steve gets startled while playing with the hairdryer, he just throws the fucking hairdryer into the bathtub, which causes chaos. And they're like, "Oh shit, you killed him again!" And then they're like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And then he wakes up. Bud the C.H.U.D is revived by this whole fucking thing.
Garrett Graham, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
That dude has been over like 120 movies.
Has he really?
He used to write for Disney under the name Bud T. C.H.U.D. I'm not kidding. What else? I made a whole lot of shit. Like he wrote for like Little Mermaid. He's in Chopping Mall. He's in Phantom of the Paradise.
I always think about him getting murdered in Child's Play, too.
Terror Vision's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
He's the
Terror-Vision's
Polly
awesome.
swinging dad. It's awesome.
Police Academy 6.
Yeah.
Police Academy 6.
Yes. And one of my favorites is he actually wrote for Pop Up Video.
Pop into pop-up video.
Yeah.
That's my shit.
Garrett Graham.
I have my brain full of dumb shit. I can tell you so much shit about like an Aha music video because of that shit.
When he did the convention circuit, I had a hard on. I was like, "This is amazing."
See,
You're
I don't
like,
think I've ever
"Who?"
saw him
I'm
at the
like,
convention.
"Oh my god."
He's one of those people that you might not know his name, but you know his face. If you see him, you've seen him somewhere.
Yeah, he's just a technician in like Chopping Mall at the very beginning. He gets killed. I mean, he does these little bitty parts. And then when I found that he wrote for Disney, I was like, I got to look at this up. And that was his fucking writing name is Bud T. C.H.U.D.
And why do they instantly leave the house?
I don't know, but they
just leave. They sneak the fuck out. They bounce.
Well, they put him in the basement,
They put him in the basement.
That makes it okay.
and they're going to meet
That
the
girl,
girlfriend.
right?
Yeah,
they're gonna meet the girlfriend. But
Katie.
it seems like
He's really into her.
you would put that off for the night when you have the dead body that you're just
No,
carrying
they
around
gotta
the
get
house.
burgers.
I cannot remember
Yeah.
Steve's fucking buddy's name. What's his goddamn name?
Kevin.
Okay, thank you.
Sidekick. Yeah, it's Steve
Yeah.
and Kevin. It's like the most like,
Kevin sidekick.
Kind of know if it's like the most basic white guy, like
Yeah.
go-to names. Like
And he's in love with
more
her.
common, especially in the '80s names. So they sneak out, they bounce again. They leave Bud the C.H.U.D in the house, and then you're like, they're taking off, and now Bud comes alive, and he's just stumbling like a drunk throughout this house. And once again, this is really the point. You're like, oh, this is nothing like C.H.U.D.
This is a comedy.
because this guy's like zany. He's kind of human.
He's trying to eat dog
He's
food.
trying to
He's
eat
chasing
the
the
dog
dog.
food. He's chasing the dog around the house, which
Meat.
is like the main thing.
not the parents.
no,
He wants
yeah.
the
he
dog.
wants the dog because he sees him and he says,
Yeah.
"Meat."
During this time, the parents are actually having dinner where they're discussing like how stupid their fucking kid is. They wish he'd be
A construction
more like his
worker.
friend, a construction
Yeah,
worker.
he's going into construction.
Yeah, he's gonna
family
go-
tradition.
He's going to be in the family business. And then the dad says, I brought him into this world. I can take him out, which is like my favorite thing that people say. I'm like, no, you can't like bring something to life and then go, yeah, it's legal for me to murder
It's
you
not
too,
legal.
at any point
No.
within your lifespan. Like, hey, sir, you're 40.
That's what his dad said to him.
Time to fucking murder you.
Time to fucking die.
You
Happy
made it.
birthday.
You
Who
made
wrote
it.
this thing? Ed Naha.
Who the fuck is Ed?
I
Nah.
don't
He,
know.
I remember. Okay, well, I wrote down. He produced a spoken word album called Inside Star Trek, and he used to write for Starlight. That's all I got.
Well,
I think he wrote like 30. He wrote 30 horror novels, none of them of which I have read. And then he worked for Stuart Gordon for Honey I Shrunk the Kids,
well, that's cool.
and that's the
Probably like a
resume I
highlight of
found.
his career, you know.
Yeah.
Well, in this we get the Bud.
Meanwhile,
Bud's walking around the house chasing a dog. He eventually gets a hold of the poodle, takes a good old bite out of old poodle face.
Doesn't eat the whole thing. Doesn't
Doesn't
finish.
eat the whole thing because we do learn at this point that Bud is transforming everybody into chuds,
Yeah, they
which
call it
once
nibbling.
again he's turning them into zombies.
this is the first movie ever to have a choodle.
A choodle?
It's a choodle. It's a chud poodle.
Which, and he takes a bite of the dog, ignores the family, and leaves. And the next scene with Bud is he's walking through the neighborhood. And we all know, like in the 80s, the leotard look was real popular, and you'd watch your 80s videos
Oh
or
my
your
God.
Suzanne Summer fucking Thigh Master videos, and you'd work the fuck out. So there's this single mom working out in front of her TV, and they make sure to let you know that it's a single mom as soon as you see her, because she's just like, I'm going to get me a man now while she's working out. And then she's like, finishes her workout, and she's like, now it's time for cigarettes and pizza, because I put my time in, and then I'm going to go find me a man at the Toy Tiger or whatever. And
Bud's fucking hungry, man, and he's horny.
and he's poking, he's watching her when she's dancing, and he's like dancing,
dancing with her, yeah.
doing his shit, which once again,
It's a
what the
comedy.
f- did they see C.H.U.D? She comes to the door and like answers the door for him, and I forgot what.
She's bringing out cat food.
That's what it is, cat food. And he's standing right in front of her, and she looks and she goes, "Oh, big feet." And then she raises up a little more. She goes, "Oh, big hands." And then she like looks him in the face, and she's just like, "I want to fuck this guy instantly." And she's like super into it, and he's like, "I guess I'm gonna fuck her with my dead wiener that might be frozen, might not be, but who knows what the hairdryer
C.H.U.D
did
wiener.
to the
Everything's
penis."
fine until he smiles.
Yeah, and then he smiles, and then she gets really fucking shallow, and that's why you're single, motherfucker. Because she's like, I don't like your fucking teeth. And he's just like,
Got chud teeth.
and he's like, well, I'm gonna fucking bite
He
you.
just
Yeah.
bites her. Well,
He
I think,
picks her up and then goes, and then you really don't see a bite on this
oh
one.
no, something we did miss while he was in the
didn't
house.
miss? We
No,
don't
we
miss
did.
shit.
No, we did.
We don't skip
Bud
over
took
anything
the,
in this
took
thing.
the picture of the 3 kids, and he rips off the side with Steve and Kevin, and he's obsessed with Katie.
Yeah, this is
He
a love
looks at her.
story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's horny as hell.
Stalker.
Well, okay, it's love
He
in
keeps,
1990.
he keeps that
89.
picture close to his heart. But then, he starts biting people and killing people.
Then he starts biting people, and this like
It's a chud plague instead of like, yeah. I mean, which was in the first film. That's the only thing kind of connecting this is the military, and
Yeah.
a bite turns you into a chud.
yeah, but the type of chud you turn into
It's
in
nothing.
this
It's nothing even close.
it's a straight zombie bite. This is one of the first like zombie comedy style things, though, really, where people like when you get bit, you're more human. I mean, some of Romero's zombies would do that, but this like they're still like they're
The
saying
the
personalities
barbershop
and shit.
guy.
Yeah, and
And
let's
these
keep
are-
in mind, like he goes on like this is like a massacre, right? We get like this highlight reel of Bud the Chud.
Yeah.
The next thing he does is he bites there's a businessman that for some reason like walks outside and goes behind a dumpster. I think he had a piss.
He's
but,
pissed.
like,
Yeah, he left the bar.
yeah, he left the bar.
Right,
to
it's
go
the worst day of
piss
his life,
behind the dumpster.
apparently.
Yeah, and he's bitching about his
Fuck
life.
you all.
And then Bud the Chud's like, "Oh hey," and then steals his clothes.
Just his jacket, T2 style.
Yeah.
But he's just like, "I want to look like that fucking guy." So now he's like more businessy.
Yeah, business casual.
He's a more professional
Business casual
Chud.
Bud.
Yeah, he's got camo pants and a fucking blazer.
Oh,
Yeah.
and
And some dog
we have
tags.
to talk about the poodle zombie murder.
The
of the
one that-
mailman.
okay, I was gonna say, is it the
Oh, yeah.
okay? Yeah,
Yeah, because the little girl at this point, the one that's been traumatized, the sister,
yeah.
she was scared shitless the day before, and now she's just eating her breakfast, looking outside, and oh look, there's the mailman, and like the mailman waves, and then the mailman looks over, and there's the poodle zombie
Yeah, he's hiding in the bushes.
hiding in the bushes.
The
And
mailman
they-
thinks it's like just a little bitty. Like,
and,
oh, how you doing?
And they
How you
put
doing?"
they put like fake teeth on this dog.
Yeah, I
Right,
mean they're
and
the
some
size of
fucking
like
mascara.
it's a human mouth essentially.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
on this dog.
So, the little girl's watching, and then the fucking dog launches at him.
It's a great scene.
Yeah,
it is a
awesome.
great
Because
scene.
you
It's-
see it from behind.
Yeah.
You see him fucking flailing in the picture window, and the mom is like, I think at the table.
Yeah, the
and
mom and the
daughter's just
father.
Like,
Yeah.
I just saw
Yeah,
some
they're-
murder.
Yep.
Yeah,
There's just murder happening.
She's
in the
just
front yard.
traumatized. It's
Yeah.
cool, but yeah, we'll get back to more traumatized.
Well, that
trauma.
mailman actually was cast as Bud the Chud originally before Gary Graham got the.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, yeah.
But they're like, hey, we got a role for you. If you
That's
want to come
what I
on
was gonna
set,
say.
you can be the fucking mailman.
You're
man.
relegated to the mailman part, but
Here-
yeah, you can follow
here's a
Bud
hun-
later.
Yeah, here's $100, buddy.
You're gonna be the first person in cinema history to be eaten by a zombie dog.
Yeah.
Choodle.
Yeah, we had
fucking
the
Choodle.
We had the poodle scene, and then we have like the barber's already transformed. So Bud bites the barber, and now the next scene we see is the barber is working on this guy who's like the worst fucking human in the world.
Oh, he's such a
And
chud.
Some of you that listen
such
to
a
this
chud.
probably actually do these things. A lot of fucking people do. Where this dude just talks about the old days, and it's like that whole like 20 years ago the world was safer.
He's a
and it's like-
barber shop
Yeah.
hipster.
I
Yeah.
could leave my
I could
doors
leave my
unlocked.
door
I could
unlocked.
leave my keys in my car. I could just. My father used to put all his stuff out on the front porch every night. All of
Nobody
our
comes
valuables, and
downtown
nobody would
anymore.
take it.
Yeah, his whole story is just like I could do this, I could do that. I wouldn't even get in a car now unless they had the right amount of candy.
Oh God.
And it's just like this the most obnoxious dude, and we all know that person. We've all been around that older person that acts like serial killers didn't exist in the 70s and 80s and shit. Like they're bad people weren't invented to 93, that type of shit.
The
It's
most
just like-
prolific fucking decade of serial killers ever, and nothing bad
It's
happens.
like everybody in my neighborhood knew each other. Oh, cool. There's like 5 houses on your block and 10 houses in your whole fucking neighborhood. Like, shut the fuck up. It's just, who gives a fuck? You're old. You're going to die soon. Shut up.
So what does the
But
barber do to this
The
guy?
barber doesn't even bite him. This guy doesn't even get
He
transformed.
doesn't deserve it.
This dude's like, I think the only person that I can think of they're just like, you know what? You don't even get to be a fucking chud.
They didn't even want him on his team.
He's like, you're already a chud, motherfucker.
No shit.
And
He sharpens the legs like, oh, you're doing razor shots. I guess I can do that. Nobody comes downtown for a barber, for getting a haircut anymore, but I do. And then he gets his fucking throat slashed. You don't get to see it, which I wish we would.
I wish we could see that because that dude was just so fucking obnoxious. And
there's a lot of violence not in this film. Like it's all been cut out. I never knew if they edited the movie
There
down.
were 3 cuts of this movie.
Okay, that's the thing I read.
Shit.
I didn't know if that was true or not. There was a comedy. It's a horror version and like a made for TV version.
Made for TV.
Right. I didn't know if I didn't find that anywhere else. I think I saw that on IMDb. I was like, it's probably some bullshit trivia person that stuck it in there. I didn't know if that was real or not.
Yeah, it was from an interview from the director.
Yeah, I'd like to see the horror version, by the way, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's not really like a horror, like terrifying version, but there's probably like definitely a gorier version.
There's gotta
extra
be,
shit
man.
here and there. But they probably just went with like the Tanny and the T-Rex way of doing things and go, hey, let's make it like fun and goofy and then see how it goes. See
Find
if we
those
can make
scenes
some
and put
money
them
off
back
of
in.
it.
We'll wait another 10 years and we'll get the Bud.
Oh,
Bud
it's
the
gonna.
Chud
It'll happen
version
eventually.
that we all deserve.
There'll be some weird nostalgia for Chud for some reason.
Well, I want to talk about the aerobic lady is actually Mick Jagger's wife at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Bianca Jagger is her name.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never put that together.
Well, odd enough, I was watching a documentary about attempted murders in like the 80s. And it was one of the things was like she almost got killed by a death squad in Honduras. And I didn't know this was the same woman until I looked up something on probably IMDb.
So somebody tried to kill her twice in the 80s.
Right. And this movie would probably really did it.
Well, she does become a chud. And outside of that, we start getting our group, who we don't see for a little bit because we're focused on Bud the Chud and his humorous murders.
Who's that fucking guy from MASH? What the fuck is he doing in this movie? He's
from MASH.
Yeah, he's was he the mortician or he's the doctor?
Okay,
He's the
so that's
surgeon?
we go to that a little bit later.
Oh, okay.
So we do go
I
back
thought we were collecting all the chuds.
Yeah, because
we
We're-
go back to Steve and his friend, and they
That's
find
right.
out like that Bud the Chud's no longer in the house, and we got to go find.
I think I found the Chud.
We gotta go find this body now. And so they go on the search for the Chuds, and then we get to where you're talking about the morgue scene,
Yeah.
right? And fun thing about that, not fun, it's fucking stupid. I don't know why I said that. Kill me. But but in every 80s movie ever, and 90s and 2000s and today, the guy that works in the morgue, they're like, you gotta show him eating a sandwich to prove that he doesn't give a fuck. This one really doesn't give a fuck because he's chugging whiskey and smoking cigarettes. He's like, I don't give a fuck about food. I don't need food. I'm just trying to be with
Whiskey is
these-
food.
He's like, I'm trying to be with these people. So I'm going to smoke all these cigarettes and drink all this fucking Crown Royal. I'm going to fuck one of these and then I'm going to go to bed. But who's that guy? That's the guy from MASH?
Yeah, I never understood. Like, is another character like Robert Vaughn? Like, what the fuck? I can't remember that guy's name. What the hell is
Is
his
it
name?
Larry Linville?
Yes, that's it. Yeah, he's the mortician. He's in MASH. And he's also in like Kolchak the Night Stalker, a couple episodes.
Yep.
But here we are, 1989 or whatever, and
89.
you're gonna stick him in a zombie movie.
Yeah, and I think we need to point out too that all this is taken. I don't know if it's on Halloween night, but it's definitely around Halloween.
Well, they
because there
keep-
is
you see, like,
Halloween
little
parties going
flyers.
on. You see
Right.
flyers everywhere for Halloween. So you know it's set in the fall. It's spooky, and it gives people reasons to look like zombies. So a lot of times when these people are seen that are chuds or zombies, whatever you want to describe them as, people think it's just people in costumes,
Yeah.
and it does just look like that because the makeup's not great. So
So our group of teenagers that are actually 30-year-old, they are going to look for the body. They're going to look for the Chud, for Bud. So they are out driving around. They're like, you know what? We should just go get some. Or no, wait. They see the truck with him next to it. They're going to get some food. They're eating food. That's what happened. Sorry, I got confused. They're eating in the diner that they ate in previously.
you skip the meat.
And they,
Meat.
They're
No.
outside. They're outside when they see him.
yeah, they are. They eat inside and then they leave.
Yeah.
They're sitting in their car eating, and then
Yeah.
the
The
truck
truck
pulls
rolls
up.
up, yeah.
The truck pulls up full of
Because
Chud.
chuds can drive.
Chuds can drive. And Bud's just hanging out in the back.
Yeah, he's chilling in the back. All the chuds go in to get food, and this is one of those like stupid, memorable.
Judd
for no
Omen goes in.
Yeah.
From the Howling 2.
Memorable for no reason. You got like 5 chuds up there, and they're like, he's like, what kind of meat do you guys want? Because they're all like, we want meat. He's like, what kind of meat?
Meat.
And they're like, we have the bodacious burger, and everything starts with a B. And then they look at his
Bogus.
name tag, and they all go, Bobby.
We want Bobby meat.
We want Bobby meat.
In certain movies, that means something completely
Yeah.
different.
And all hell breaks loose as far as like, we're just going to turn all these people into chuds after we fucking eat parts of their bodies.
And they're like the security guard from the first one. They're just not even paying attention. They're not even looking at what's going on. They're
Yeah.
just eating their food. and all these people are just getting fucking murdered. You see people. It's a cool scene because you see all the people like inside the restaurant, like standing on their tables, like fucking
getting
trying to swat
annihilated.
them off.
Yeah.
And that's when
The army shows up.
no
The barn.
the army shows up at the barn.
No, guys.
No.
The army shows up at the diner. They park off to the side, and then
That's right.
Oh, yeah,
and then, like I said, the guy from Howling 2 walks
Yeah,
in,
that's it,
and he fucking dives out of the front window. Then they're like, "Oh wait!"
Yeah.
And then Robert Vaughn comes out with a fucking rocket
Bazooka, yeah.
launcher, and this is how I know that chuds don't blow up, because after the whole thing implodes, they're like, "Okay, well we took care of this," and everybody drives away. The chuds are just like, "Oh, I got some dirt on me," and come out of the fucking grave and just continue.
Yeah, I love how Bud the
Including
Chud
the
doesn't give a
Choodle.
fuck the whole time doing all this. Yeah, including the Choodle.
What the fuck?
But Bud the Chud at this point, like, he's just like, these are my minions. I don't give a fuck about anything anymore. I'm just gonna go try to have sex with this woman. That's all I care about.
It's a
he's
love story.
He's
again.
a stalker.
Yeah. God damn it, Dave.
He that's why that's why he takes the suit jacket. He wants to look nice.
Chud
for
the
it.
stalker. Damn it.
Is it
Bud the
What-
Chud stalker.
the military dude? At what point does he say this Chud's for you? Is that before?
Oh,
he
no, no,
God damn it.
See, there's a lot of puns in this.
There's so
movie.
many puns, but that's the one that got me the most because that's when Bud Light was,
Yeah.
or Budweiser.
Yeah,
was pretty
because there was the
popular.
two chud that were going into the bar, and they were like, "Less filling, tastes great," and then
Yeah.
they went in there and ate everybody. So I don't. There's so many fucking puns in this movie. I was trying to write them down, and I just wrote down puns.
That one, this
A lot of
Chud for
puns.
you got me. I don't know if that was during it's either during the barn scene or the restaurant.
Which the barn scene is where our group of heroes finally find Bud.
They
Right.
find Bud the Chud, and they realize Bud the Chud does not like them, and it's not going to be because honestly, like the build up to this,
I
to
thought
them
they're
finding
going
Bud
to
the
be
Chud.
like reunited.
If you've
and
never
everything's
seen
going to
this,
be great.
it was going to be like Fido or some shit, where they're going to be like best friends with this zombie, and they're
No.
going to be like protecting him now. It's really what it kind of seems like. But no, he's just like, kill everybody. And they try to stab him with like a pitchfork, and he doesn't really like
Doesn't
react
really
to
work.
that.
Nothing stops these guys.
They-
Bazookas don't stop them.
There's a hay bale scene where they drop a whole hay bale on him. The fucking it's like a pro wrestling thing though, because it fucking misses completely, but he sells the shit out of it. If you watch that scene,
Oh, he flops like a
it,
fucking.
yeah, it misses by like 2 inches, but the Chud's like, oh, and you're like, come on, dude, that's a fucking flop, dude. That's an NBA foul, James Harden.
He's not
And-
getting paid a lot.
Then this is where the military shows up, and they're like, "Oh, we've got a bigger fucking problem.
Yeah.
Grab the freeze rays."
Yeah,
But guess what? They freeze a chud or zombie, and it doesn't fucking work.
Yeah.
Because they have evolved.
They elevate their own.
They elevate their own body temperature.
Yeah.
They've evolved.
Yeah,
They're the
yeah,
perfect
they-
killing machine at
now,
this point.
Now keep in mind, they do. It's not that they don't freeze; they freeze. But then,
They
because
start
they
to
don't die,
melt.
they melt it because they
Yeah.
elevate their own body temperature.
And I like how
It's
they
just-
look at him going, look at him. Like, why don't you hit him again? Hit this
why
motherfucker
don't
one
you
more
fight
time.
Like Sub-Zero, that motherfucker. Have you? Mortal Kombat wasn't invented yet. They don't know just to uppercut the motherfucker.
They
I've got him
Fatality,
one
this
good time,
motherfucker,
and
dude.
everything
I would have
shatters.
so much fun. I would just be like, bloop, bloop. Just hands
Meanwhile,
going
Robert Vaughn
everywhere.
is having a blast, going, yeah, the perfect fucking monster.
He's
Oh, yeah.
excited because his project
As
works.
Derek said, his baby.
It's proof of life.
Yeah,
he's
it's-
got it.
You know, the government has this ultimate weapon now because now these guys, now they're evolving, and it's like, holy shit.
That
now
you
we
can't
can-
control.
And we can really use these motherfuckers. Yeah, like we can control nukes and everything else we put out there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just one button.
There's one button. Fuck it. Who cares what happens?
No.
Fuck them. Yeah, so our heroes are a bit fucked now because you got Chuds and the military's pretty pissed off at them, but they get arrested, right? But it's like more of like a slap on the wrist style arrest. They put them with like one fucking cop who's like a super nerd in that room.
Yeah, it was the one that was going around
Yeah.
with Robert Vaughn.
Yeah, so you put like Robert Vaughn's sidekick, by the way, is the same level of nerd as Kevin, who's Steve's friend. So you get these two nerds. It's like one nerd that's 30, who's in high school, and another nerd that's like 50, but he's like an intern for the military. He's supposed to be like fresh out of college. They're both like older than what they're playing.
Military interns. I like it.
But they're just like, doing this like boring, like what you would consider boring talk because Steve lets us know over and over that it's fucking boring. Even though they're trying to solve what's going on with Chuds and shit, Steve's just like, oh, I just fucking hate this. Is fucking boring. What are you guys even talking about now?
He's one of the worst heroes written.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
He reminds me like he's very Joe Piscopo-y in this.
I also didn't know if they were like trying to direct your attention off of him more towards the end of the movie on to Kevin, because Kevin has the love interest, and Steve's just a fucking asshole.
Yeah, but
He's
that's,
mean through the whole fucking character, but I guess he's the cute guy that we all know from TV.
it's a pandering to young boys.
Yeah.
There's that age, like that I mean, some people never grow out of it. Some people are my age and still think that's a cool personality trait. But when you're young, you think that guy's cool. Like he fucking hates school. He doesn't give a fuck about any of this that's happening. He just has one-liners. And that's like teenagers are like, oh, that's the guy. You know, it's the same reason why teenagers think fucking Boondock Saints is the best thing in the world.
Oh my God.
Or they fucking love Randy from fucking Scream and Matthew Lillard from Scream.
Oh yeah.
It's always the one-liner guys that, you know, are the most likable to the young people. And then you get old and grumpy and you're like, I fucking hate that guy. I know what that guy grows up to become, even though this dude's 35 already. But yeah, so essentially
Back to our movie.
Yeah, so they're talking over like how they're gonna do this shit. We find out, I guess, that they're heading. How do they find out they're heading to a Halloween party? Oh, because they go to gatherings. They're gonna be looking for a giant gathering.
Yes.
So, you know, the Chuds will be looking for a giant gathering. And there's a big Halloween party.
Yeah, and
at the
now it is
school.
Halloween, and a couple things to point out. One, they can just walk around, and like you said earlier, nobody gives a shit
Nobody
because
gives
they
a
just
shit.
look like zombies. Two, Robert Englund's in it for just some random
Yeah.
reason.
Trench coat cameo.
Yeah, I
Trench
was
coat
gonna
man.
say.
And it was the creepiest fucking thing of the whole movie because I saw it and I was like, "This fucking Freddy Krueger walking around. Who's this little child he's got with him?"
Yeah, he
Yeah.
kidnapped some kid.
Yeah.
This is after Nightmare on Elm Street, so
Yeah, so it was really just a random pop
I just
up.
thought it was a cool gag. I thought that horror nerds would get that because by then we knew who Robert Englund was.
Well, he's wearing that brown trench coat and shit,
Right.
And which is funny because there's that 12-inch Freddy variant that's just a Robert Englund figure, and that's what he's wearing in it, which is kind of weird.
It's very based off like the New Nightmare look.
Yeah, the New Nightmare look. Yeah, it's so fucking. But this is way before New Nightmare.
I know.
But he's wearing that brown jacket. Like when I see it, I'm like, God, I had that toy, and I sold it because I was like, one of my friends pointed out one day, he's like, it's Freddy without the Freddy makeup, so you just have a pedophile doll. And I'm like,
Holy shit!
shit, I
Derek.
do just have a pedophile doll. I gotta sell that. I'm gonna get rid of
Freddy
that.
before Freddy.
Like I have
Oh,
kids, I just can't have a
God
fucking
damn.
pedophile doll.
Like who's this? You got all these great wrestling. What's that character? Pedophile.
Well, he like, you know, he's like,
He's the least
If you
fucking
could have thought about it, you could have
collectible.
said it's my only Chud 2 figure.
What's, what's the variant on the pedophile doll
Yeah, what-
besides Freddy? It's just like
it's the fucking Todd McFarlane in a box. from
God
the previous
damn.
episode. Yeah, so yeah, after that was pointed out to me, I sold that motherfucker, which he's kind of limited, so I got a little bit for him. But that is a weird like cameo. It's like, oh, I wonder if like they were filming next to something like Robert Englund was doing, or if he's got like fucking friends somewhere.
Yeah, because you know that
In
this movie
89,
didn't have money.
Yeah, in '89 he was doing like New Nightmare, the New Nightmare series, like the TV
the
show.
TV
Freddy's-
show Freddy's Nightmares.
Right. So I mean, I don't
He's
know.
uncredited in the movie. He doesn't have a credit in the movie. They were,
Right.
It had to be
The
like
horror nerds had to know who it was.
maybe
back
they
then.
fucking tricked him to walking on the set. I don't
Yeah.
know.
and going to right
This
after
movie is full of old stars, though, and
Yeah.
new ones that haven't even,
But we got to talk about the
exploded.
trick or treaters.
Well, yeah. I was kind of gonna go right after that. We have like the trigger. You know, the Chuds walk by a young kid that's trick or treating, and he goes, "Bitch in costumes." But I don't think his parents let him say it because it looks a lot like they had to go in and dub the voice in. Because he's like, his lips don't move properly.
Yeah, it's the ADR company.
And the voice sounds like someone my age trying to go, "Bitch in costumes." Like somebody's just trying to like,
to make the voice.
how do I
high.
make a little kid? And then right after that, this movie's so fucking bananas. I fucking love it. It's the Chuds, and they knock on the door, and it's this old couple, and they're like, "We're so excited." But like, did this happen in the 80s? Maybe this is like back in my day, like the barbershop guy was talking about. They're like, "Come on in." They don't like fucking hand them candy. They invite this group of like 7 Chud kids into their house.
well, they don't know they're Chuds.
Well,
to be fair.
we
But
talked about this
I've
during our
never
Halloween
seen that in my
episode.
whole
That
life.
happened to me when I was young. Is that we were? This was
You
hopping
would go in people's houses.
apartment complex hopping. I mentioned this, and then you would knock on. You could listen and hear where the party was. You knocked on the door, and they're like, "Yeah, do you want to come in and get some candy?" And we did. Sometimes we didn't, but most of the time we were like, "Fuck yeah!" Or there were even places where you could knock on the door, and they had an entire haunted house set up, like in Roseanne.
That's so
real
weird to me.
shit.
yeah, I remember those.
So that's real shit. So to me, that didn't even faze me when you were talking about that. But now, as at my age now, like fuck no.
That's so weird to me, though, to think of like going into someone's house. Like you
That
can
was a thing.
You can literally just hand me the candy,
Especially in the suburbs. This
And
is the suburbs.
even for the
It's not New
old-
York.
and
We
then-
burned New York,
Yeah.
and now we're in the suburbs.
and it's going both ways. Of course, when you're a kid, you hear these stories of Hansel and Gretel and like the fucking, don't talk to strangers, don't take candy from whatever. And like the idea of like, oh, I'm gonna just go in these old people's house is weird. And for the old people, the idea that I'm just going to let these kids in costumes into my house, not knowing if they're fucking. I mean, Children of the Corn's out by that time.
Yeah, it is.
They don't watch that. They're too busy watching Alaska documentaries.
They had to at least see. Okay, maybe not Children.
TerraVision satellite motherfuckers.
So then they at least saw Village of the Damned, though.
Maybe.
Come on.
Well, they thought those kids weren't like that, but those kids were like that because the first thing they do, they're like meat, and they eat the fucking bird.
Yeah,
and then they just tackle the old people and eat them too.
Yeah.
So now you have your big group of chud.
We haven't even talked about how we're like, the movie Slither is one of my favorite movies, and like they use that term throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, they use it. Yeah,
meat. And that was like the thing, like in that film, there's so many Easter eggs, and this was the one thing I thought about when I watched that was chud too. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
I think these movies are easy to steal little things from or use things from because I don't know how many people actually even saw Chud 2, but at this point now we got a whole horde of we got like 50 fucking chuds, and they're all heading towards the high school. And the best thing is they all, like 10 of them are main chuds, like our barbershop guy, Bud the chud, leotard chick. They're all together to try to get into this place now. And there's this high school girl, also 30, that just goes like, "Oh, what school do you guys go to?" This is how old everybody looks in this movie, that this high school girl looked at the barbershop guy
with a toupee
who's like 70, and she goes, "What high school do you guys
Maybe
go
she
to?"
thought it was really good makeup.
Like a crazy good costume. She looked at that group of people, and was like, "Oh my God, they all just do the best makeup work I've ever seen in my life."
What gang are you guys with? Makeup gang?
It's a real funny scene because she's like, well, you got to pay to get in. And they're like, oh, and it's like, it's $3. And they're all looking at each other, and Bud's actually counting.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to figure it out. And then she's like, your dog can't come, and they fucking kill her.
That's it.
Yeah.
You fucked up.
It's like, oh, my dog can't come? Fuck
can't
you.
come in, you're dead.
Yeah, you're fucked. And the zombies get into this dance, and they don't immediately attack. In fact, it does like the usual 80s weird shit where like,
we got a party.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe my school sucked, but there was never a coordinated dance at any of our school dances. In fact, most of our school dances, it was like maybe 20 people dancing, and everyone else was off to the side talking about where we're going to get drunk or high at or partying. But these movies always have like some weird coordinated dance, a band that doesn't suck, which I tried to look up what that band was, and I couldn't find any information on the band that's in that scene.
Good luck.
Well, because sometimes you get like weird ones. You're like, oh shit.
Well, I thought maybe they did the soundtrack and they didn't. Or
yeah, that's what I thought too.
I was
that
thinking
was
they did the theme song, which we all know.
I Googled like the lyrics and everything, and nothing would pull from it. So I guess we were the first people to give a fuck about that situation.
In 40 years.
So while all this is going on, eventually our group of high schoolers and their one military nerd friend show up, and they start like, how are we gonna fuck shit up?
All the while the chud are trying to bite people hilariously, but they can't catch them because they're dancing, so they're ducking and dodging, and they have no coordination, so they obviously can't bite them. It's so ridiculous.
And we get to see the teacher from the very beginnings, the first one they run into when they get into the classroom. So what happens to him?
Oh, what happened to the teacher?
What happens to the teacher?
Oh, yeah, they figure out accidentally.
Yeah, this is where we figure out everything.
how to kill the chud. You have to freeze them. And then introduce electricity. Yeah, electricity.
Yeah.
So they throw back to the start of the movie.
I was going to ask you to look up Return of the Dead Part 2 because I could not remember if this was like getting ripped off from that or if this was getting ripped off from that. You can choose whichever title you want for that sentence. I'm just asking. Like, what the fuck? It's almost the same ending.
That teacher has the best death in that whole
Except
fucking
for the
movie,
freezing part. Yeah,
the teacher fucking explodes, and it's so fucking good. And that's when they decide. So here's how they come up with it. So we got the love interest, the two dorks from the beginning, Kevin and Steve, and we got the dorky military guy all together. And this is how they come up with how you're going to kill the chuds. We're going to get them all to follow us into a swimming pool. They're all going to go into the swimming pool. Then we're going to use these canisters of freezy shit. As you guys
Liquid
know, I don't know the
nitrogen or
name of
something.
anything, so freezy shit.
Well, you just have to act like it is.
Yeah. They're going to spray it. It's going to freeze them. And then we're going to fucking make them all blow up.
Right. And there's
That's the
enough
plan.
freezing material stuff to freeze the entire fucking pool.
Yeah, because this school has dead animals
Dave?
and liquid nitrogen.
I was going to say Return of the Living Dead came out in 88, so it did come out first.
Okay,
But
yeah.
we don't know when it was
they
shot
added
compared to this.
They added the freezing part, and now it's okay. It's different. It's the dun.
So at this point,
At this point, they're trying to figure out how we're going to do this.
and we have the coordinated dancing going on.
That's
While they're
right.
trying to figure out how to do this, they want the girlfriend to be bait because they do understand that people want to fuck her, whether they're dead or alive.
But let's dress her up.
So they dress
So
her up.
she wears the exact same swimsuit as it's in the picture
In the
that
picture.
Bud carries in him right next to his heart.
right.
So it's like, hey, go out there, take off running. We'll get them in the pool. And at this point, everyone at the dance is a chud pretty much. I mean, we're 50-50, but most of them have been bitten by now. Some of them were distracted because they're dancing. And once again, every time they go to the dance, the chuds and the people are all like together dancing. Like it's the most coordinated, weird fucking shit. They do follow her. So, and you watch these little chuds splash into the water. I don't know why they're all jumping in the water.
Well, she jumped in the water, and they jumped in after her.
Yeah.
But they're like, swim, bitch.
Pretty much like,
Over here, over there.
get out. So at this point, they're trying to get the liquid nitrogen or whatever. They're trying to get it open, and they're not doing a good job
It's
of it.
awful.
And they throw it in, and they get it in there, and it's starting to freeze. So they just grab the power cables that going into a fucking
House current.
going into a fucking box,
Right.
and they pull it down. And the first thing I notice is when Kevin pulls it down, it hits Steve, so he would have been dead immediately.
Yep.
It is just the end of the story right there. And so at this point, they're going to throw it in and kill all the chud. But there's one chud that's not frozen.
Bud.
The Judd.
Bud's not fucking around, and
He's smart.
Bud gives Steve a little bite ski on his leg,
On his foot.
on his
No,
foot.
he got bitten on his foot when they were trying to get everybody.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
the chick from the door that,
Okay.
that got eaten because she didn't
Yeah.
like dogs.
Yeah.
And Bud is out, but all the other ones are frozen. So they're like, "Oh shit, we got to do this. We got to get it done." And Bud chases Katie up the
the diving board.
up the diving board,
Yeah.
and you think it's this big, like, "Oh shit, he's gonna get her," and he stops. And he literally takes out his
Rips
heart.
his fucking heart out and
And
hands it
gives
to
it
her.
to her.
It's the most romantic fucking thing in the world.
Yeah, like my note was like, Bud gives Katie his heart. Sad.
The fact
Yeah,
that
it's
they
like Brad a Reanimator.
the
What
fact
do
that they
you
didn't
want?
the fact that they didn't steal that when they did that teenager zombie love story movie.
Warm Bodies?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they fucked up there. They totally should have
forgot
been.
about that
That
one.
should have been a fucking scene.
Oh
Like,
my
you really
God,
fucked up.
Warm Bodies.
But yeah, and that's when we also learned that these like fucking ice freezy things can shoot fucking 20 feet into the sky too, because Bud's coming after her and they shoot him with the fucking ice.
Yeah.
Like when he's way the fuck up there, and then he dies.
Yeah, and then they add the
Oh,
electricity.
then they use electricity,
and then
everybody
they
fucking dies.
they blow up. But when they blow up, it's like you get the little pieces of light coming out of them.
Yeah.
Then they blow up. So
Oh,
there's like a
yeah,
there's
the
like
light,
a 5-minute
the weird
montage.
Highlander.
It's like a 5-minute
all
montage of
getting
them blowing
quickened.
up in the pool.
Right. There can be only one.
Yeah,
And at this
Chud.
point, the
They
movie-
leave.
Yeah, they leave. They leave. Everything's normal. Fuck,
everything's
everybody's
cool.
dead.
You don't see
I'm
anyone
not cleaning
else.
this fucking mess up, dude.
During this time, by the way, during the final fight, military nerd guy dies too. So it's just the three friends that escape. The next day, you just flash forward to like the next morning, essentially.
That's what always got me.
Steve-
It's like they're getting ready to go back to school. Like
Yeah.
after all this shit
Yeah.
just happened.
It's literally like nothing happened, and I guess that makes sense because they're still trying to play off that they lost that dead body earlier. So it's like we had shit to do with any of it.
We better just go to
Yeah.
class and just shut
I
up.
mean, even though they know their teacher's dead, and I'm pretty sure half their school's dead, 'cause
Right.
they were very strict. Like, you can only be at this school. Like, if you didn't go here, you're not allowed in. And that's a lot of students that got murdered.
It's a lot of easy grades, though, man.
Steve apparently during his that night, I guess he had some time to think and decided, I don't give a fuck about my parents. They're just gonna let me leave. So he left a letter saying he didn't want to be there anymore. He's had some thinking and he's leaving town. He wishes everybody the best. He loves his friends, but he's too big of a fuck up. Goodbye. And the next shot is Steve hitchhiking, and this girl in his truck comes and picks him up. He hops in. You see in the back seat is the head military guy.
Robert Vaughn.
And he
And the
opens
poodle.
his mouth, and he's now a chud, and he has the poodle. And we cut to the front. The girl driving's a chud.
Yeah.
And then Steve opens his mouth, and he's now a chud. Dun, dun,
Dun.
dun.
And that's the end of the movie.
And that's the
But
end of the movie.
we forgot to mention the sister again, how she gets traumatized because this is the fucked up part. This
She's
is the
been
most-
traumatized since the
well,
beginning of this
no.
fucking
So she's
movie.
sitting in the
Yeah,
car
fuck
after
her.
at the very end, like when all the police are
Yeah.
there and everything,
Right.
and then the body that they said "fuck this, we don't need to get" just rolls out of
Oh,
nowhere.
yeah, rolls out
and
of-
just hits the fucking car. So think about it. This body has been on the fucking highway for 2 days.
I told you he could steer.
Yeah, this
That's
is
what I
the-
meant.
But this whole movie's teaching that little girl never to be a snitch.
It's all in a biz. Yeah.
If she
Snitches
did-
get
if she didn't
stitches.
wake up
Yes, they
re-
do.
If she didn't wake up ready to snitch on her brother, none of these bad things would have
From the
happened.
beginning of the movie.
Yeah, if she would stayed the fuck in bed instead of being like, I wonder what Mullet Steve's doing. Why is he 35 and still lives here? Why is he still a senior in high school? Like, no, just go to fucking bed. You're the only person of age in this movie. stay asleep. Instead, she's just too nosy.
Yeah, and that is the end of the movie. And this is one of the
That's the end
first
of Buddy
movies
Cop.
that had an after credit sequence.
Was
Where
it?
you see
was it?
where you see the disembodied head of Chud
Oh,
going,
yeah.
"Yeah,"
Yeah,
and then it's over, and
Yeah,
then you get that
sure.
amazing fucking
Yeah,
song.
suck it, Marvel.
And then you get, then you get the
Pirates
full
of the
version-
Caribbean, technically.
You get
I
the full
guess.
version of Bud the Chud, which they play bits and pieces of through this entire fucking movie. It's like the one song they use. But Chud 2 is great. I know people love to shit on it because if you're a fan of Chud 1 and you're like hardcore about it, Chud 2 is nothing like Chud 1. It shouldn't even be called Chud. But it being called Chud makes it funner for me because it's so ridiculous. And with that title, it seems like the franchise should be this way, right?
Yeah.
It's called fucking Chud. Cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller. There's no way to take that seriously, even though part 1 tried to do so. So I feel like part 2 did it perfectly. They're like, you know what? Fuck it. I haven't seen Chud 1.
Let's just wing
but
it.
This name sounds fun.
Yeah.
We're making zombies, motherfucker.
There is a.
They never go underground in this movie.
They don't. That's the
Not
thing.
once.
That's so disconnected.
Yeah.
And we talked about Return of the Living Dead,
Yeah.
like trying to make me be a remake, or I think we did.
Yeah.
That's not. I've never seen any other kind of like. There's nothing to tell us that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense. There's actually, I think, an anthology book written about
shit.
the only thing after this that's ever been done. I think that somebody made a music video about it with the Chud music in it. That's all. That's its legacy.
It deserves more
anthology
love.
book
It deserves more
and a
love
music
than what it
video.
gets. I recently rewatched it with my 11-year-old because he never saw it either, and he actually liked both, which made me happy because a lot of these '80s movies, especially like Chud 1, don't hold up because they're pacing and they're kind of like no real jokes for kids and stuff. But he liked both and loved Chud 2. He's like, this is a totally different movie, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the fun part about it is it's a sequel, but it's not. But it's also one of those things you wonder, like, how John Hurt and Daniel Stern would do in that universe. Like, probably, I mean, they did great in Home Alone, so they probably would do really
I
well.
think they'd be kick ass.
They would kick ass. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. You can't do, like, the homeless thing, though, in, like, a goofy movie. That's not, like, a cool thing to just, like, make
Not in
funny.
the suburbs.
Yeah, not to me, anyway. Like, there's certain things I'm like, you should keep that for serious films. You can't do, like, goofy, like, let's make fun of the homeless. Like, nah, you got to keep it in the serious
Yeah,
chat.
they
not
did
the-
it in Home Alone too. Didn't work out
yeah,
too well.
that's why they probably stay away from the underground thing there because they're like, let's just stick to like, you can make fun of teenagers and teachers and barbershop guys. It's really lighthearted. It doesn't even have it. This is coming from a fucking 34-year-old white guy, so I do apologize if there is offensive stuff. But it's one of those, like, I'm pretty sure there's, like, really no offensive humor compared to, like, all the 80s movies that I've seen.
There's
that-
no black
that
guy
make me-
with a boom box.
Yeah,
and there's
there's-
like nobody has like there's no like stereotypes
There's no random stereotypes.
except white stereotypes.
Yeah, there's white stereotypes, and that's
The
it. And it's-
barber, the douchebag,
Yeah.
the aerobic lady.
Yeah.
I mean, the little shitty kid, the mullet kid. Like everyone's like a
Yeah.
white stereotype.
And everybody's white, so maybe it's that, but they don't have any like insensitive like humor really in
Yeah.
it either. I mean, unless you want like, oh, I'm a teacher and they make fun of teachers.
White,
Sure.
well, like black people don't live in the suburbs.
yeah.
That could be the only thing you could take
yeah,
out of that.
Yeah, but it does like compared to like a lot of 80s horror, I'm like, it's pretty safe as far as that goes too. Because most 80s horror movies I watch them and eventually there's something they say.
like,
and I'm like,
This one's more
I'm
of a
like,
comedy
what
though
the
than
fuck?
horror.
It
Yeah.
is, but it's still comedy horror, and the VHS still has that hard R on the front
Yeah, it's
there.
got hard, restricted, but
It
like,
is-
there's
It
no
was in
real
the horror
violence.
section.
There's no nudity.
But the case is a lie.
And yeah, I mean, in this series didn't make a whole lot of money either because Chud 1.
Well, Chud 1 was a
Chud
limited
was a
release anyway.
bomb.
Yeah, Chud 1.
Yeah, it made like
well, I don't think it
$4.7
bombed.
million
I
on
think
a
it was just a limited
$1.2
release.
million budget or something like that.
Yeah, it's just a limited
And the
release.
second one, I
movie.
don't even know what the budget was.
$12, and it's all
God,
in gray body.
It's all
paint.
in gray body paint, Dawn of the Dead style. Garrett Graham is awesome.
But I appreciate it, and this has been our like full breakdown of Chud. If you stuck with us this long, you're obviously a fan of Chud, or you really wanted to learn about this weird ass fucking franchise that lasted 2 films. Probably should have get a third
That,
one.
yeah, that we continue to talk about in almost every episode.
You'll
but
always
it
hear me
should.
mention it, and if I talk about someone I hate, you'll probably hear me call them Chud. So there's that. But did you guys have anything else about this franchise?
No, and this is one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite sequels that we haven't really touched on about the whole thing about sequels being different.
Yeah.
Like completely fucking different. We touched on our sequels episode, but like this is a prime fucking example
Yeah.
of it just being like, let's just be completely fucking stupid.
And entertaining. Yeah, it's very 80s. You
Yeah.
probably you couldn't do this today. If it came out today, people would be like, fuck this. This is stupid. But for the 80s humor and the style and that low budget straight to video shit that we had back then, it's awesome.
Yeah, it could be just Bud the zombie killer.
And if
guy.
you hate it, you're probably a Chud. So fuck you.
That's a good place to end it,
I
I
don't know where
guess.
I'm going with that one. Yeah, you got me.
That's a good place to end
Dave,
it.
take us out of here.
Yeah, thank you for listening, and you can find us on Anchor FM, Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Castbox, YouTube, our Facebook page.
Yeah,
like,
Instagrams, all that stuff.
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe.
We're in 15 countries now. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know where the
That's out of here, guys.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Day.
Meat.